Chapter 5:13, Suspicion, Scheme. For the atmosphere in the garden of the Heartless Garden was warm, but the atmosphere in the Yu family's patriarch study was abnormally depressed and depressed. In the study, the Yu family head sat on the main seat with a stern face. He was about 50 years old and looked very similar to Yu-kun. He looked very sanctimonious just from his appearance, but his strength was that of a mystic supremacy. Yu-kun stood in front of the desk, looking at his father anxiously. However, he did not dare to ask what he wanted to know, seeing that his father's expression was not good. Kuner, that old man from the Yu family, declined. The Yu family's patriarch finally spoke after a long silence. Then what should we do? Father, think of a way. I must marry Shiner. Yu-kun said anxiously. Kuner, are you sure that woman is really from the Lung family? The Yu family's patriarch asked doubtfully. Yes, definitely. Father, didn't you secretly look at her? And those things I told you, can ordinary families possess them? Yu-kun said hurriedly. But I keep feeling that the background of that woman is suspicious. If she is really the daughter of the Lung family, then we should visit them personally to propose marriage. That will also show our sincerity. After all, how can a woman like her decide on marriage? The Yu family's patriarch said slowly after some thought. Father, when will it be my turn if I go to the Lung family to propose marriage? Yu-kun said without confidence. Alas, their Yu family was considered to be trustworthy in Myriad Mountain City, but what was it compared to a superfamily like the Lung family? Kuna, what are you talking about? How can our Yu family be inferior? Myriad Mountain City is our territory. Even the Lung family would have to play by our rules if they come to the Myriad Mountain City. The Yu family's patriarch said confidently. Back then, even the Lung family had to be polite to his grandfather's generation. Unfortunately, he forgot that the current Yu family was no longer the Yu family of the past, and the Lung family might not necessarily give him face. Father, going to the Lung family to propose marriage is indeed insurance, but what if the Lung family sends people to investigate my background? Wouldn't my past deeds be exposed? Yu-kun said worriedly. In fact, he didn't have much confidence in going to the Lung family to propose marriage because he used to. I've warned you long ago to restrain yourself. Now you know better. The Yu family's patriarch rebuked angrily, exasperated at his son's failure to live up to expectations. Alas, his son was good in every way, but he had a fatal weakness, which was being perverted. He wanted to bring all the women he liked home. Father, that's all in the past. It won't happen again. I promise. Yu-kun raised a hand as if he was swearing an oath. What about those women? The patriarch of the Yu family asked with displeasure. Those women would be in trouble if they really became relatives with the Lung family. Alas, he more or less knew the rules of the Lung family. Father, I've already dealt with those women. Don't worry. Yu-kun promised. That's good. Kuner, you will be someone who will do big things in the future. The hopes of our Yu family are all pinned on you, so don't be as ridiculous as before, understand? The Yu family's patriarch advised earnestly. Okay, Yu-kun promised. He would not be tempted for the time being unless a woman more beautiful than Shiner appeared. Give this to your Shiner. Patriarch Yu took out a porcelain bottle from his sleeve. Father, what is this? Yu-kun was a little surprised. This little bottle looked so familiar. Ecstasy, the Yu family head said softly. Father, you mean? Yu-kun's eyes widened in disbelief. Exactly what you're thinking. I won't be at ease if I don't do this. Don't even think about me getting her some 10,000-year-old wild ginseng, the patriarch of the Yu family said worriedly. He was not a young man who was blinded by love. He would not fall out with others over a woman of unknown origin. Therefore, he had no choice but to do this. He still had doubts about the woman's identity, but in fact, he already believed in Lung Wuxin's identity in his heart. However, out of caution, he felt that it was better to let his son get what he wanted first. This way, when he brought the 10,000 years wild ginseng to the Lung family to propose marriage, the Lung family could not refuse even if they wanted to. But Yu-kun was suddenly a little scared. Useless thing, where did your boldness when dealing with other women go? the patriarch of the Yu family scolded with a displeased face. All right, he'll do it. Yu-kun gritted his teeth and left the study with the porcelain bottle in his hand. On the way to the Heartless Garden, Yu-kun was actually very nervous. To be honest, this was a situation he had never experienced before. However, his heart instantly became resolute again when he thought that Shiner would really belong to him soon. At the entrance of the Heartless Garden, Yu-kun walked. He raised his head high and asked arrogantly, "Is Shiner awake?" "Miss is awake," the freak said indifferently, ignoring Yu-kun's rudeness. "I want to see her." "Go and notify her," Yu-kun ordered. "Miss invites young Master Yu in." At this moment, Lung Ruoxue opened the door, walked out, and bowed slightly. "Umph." Yu-kun glared at the freak and snorted coldly. Then he strode directly into Lung Wuxin's boudoir. "Young Master Yu, please have a seat," Lung Ruoxue said politely on purpose to remind him that she was a guest, even though this was his home. After Yu-kun entered the room, the maidservant he deliberately left in the Heartless Garden to serve Lung Wuxin immediately brought 2 cups of tea and some snacks. Lung Ruoxue naturally prepared some food for her young miss and then left the room. Outside the room, Lung Ruoxue dismissed the Yu family's maidservant and sat on the bench in the flower bed with the freak, which happened to be facing Lung Wuxin's room. "Shuer, what should we do now?" the freak asked with a naughty smile. Chapter 514, Clam and Crane Fight. 1. Admire the scenery. The scenery in the Heartless Garden is really good. It's obvious that Yu-kun spent a lot of effort here. Lung Ruoxue looked at the scenery in the Heartless Garden with her bright eyes and praised. Every master here was once his favorite woman. How can he not be attentive? The freak said nonchalantly. Efforts? In his opinion, he probably didn't have any good intentions. "Freak, I think I smell something sour," Lung Ruoxue teased with a light smile. "No way." The freak would never admit that he was a little unhappy to hear Shuer complimenting another man. "That's good. Freak, let me lean on you for a while," Lung Ruoxue said. "Feel free to lean on me. There's no need to stand on ceremony," the freak said generously. "I'm just informing you. I'm not being polite." Lung Ruoxue leaned directly on the freak and closed her eyes. The two of them hugged like this. In the room, a snow-white, translucent snake slipped out of the door and wrapped itself around Lung Ruoxue's wrist as an ornament. Ah! Several hours later, an ear-piercing scream came from Lung Wuxin's room, waking Lung Ruoxue and the freak who were pretending to be sleeping in each other's arms. The two of them hurriedly stood up and ran toward the room. In the room, as soon as Lung Ruoxue entered the room, she saw disheveled clothes strewn all over the floor through the screen. Lung Wuxin was sitting on the bed crying while surrounded by a blanket. Yu-kun, who was beside her, was naked and seemed to be coaxing her. "Shiner, don't cry. My heart aches so much from your crying. Alas, it's all my fault. We weren't able to control our emotions, but if I could control it, this wouldn't have happened. Blame me if you want to. Don't be angry enough to damage your body. I'll be responsible for you. I'll immediately go to the Lung family to propose marriage after I obtain the 10,000 years wild ginseng, okay?" Yu-kun coaxed gently, his voice so gentle that water seemed to drip from it. However, Lung Wuxin kept crying. Lung Ruoxue listened at the door for a while and thought to herself, this Yu-kun is really an expert at coaxing women. If Lung Wuxin was a real woman, she would probably have to accept it if she heard this. However, she didn't dare to delay for too long and ran directly toward the bed. She was stopped by Yu-kun after just 2 steps. "Get out. Don't come near," Yu-kun ordered domineeringly. "Miss, what happened?" Lung Ruoxue stood obediently on the other side of the screen and asked worriedly. "It's okay. Go out first. This has nothing to do with you." Yu-kun directly ordered him to leave. "Yes," Lung Ruoxue answered and then obediently left the room. The freak guarding outside the door couldn't help whispering in surprise when he saw Lung Ruoxue coming out so quickly. "Shuer, what happened inside?" "I'm not sure either." Miss is crying very sadly, and young Master Yu is coaxing her. Lung Ruoxue choked up when she heard footsteps in the distance, her little face full of worry. Then why aren't you serving Miss inside? The freak's eyes flashed as he roared furiously. Young Master Yu doesn't allow me to stay inside, Lung Ruoxue said aggrievedly with tears in her bright eyes. What happened? The Yu family head rushed over when he heard the commotion and asked with a worried face. You are? Lung Ruoxue looked at the middle-aged man doubtfully. This is our Yu family's patriarch. Hurry up and greet him, the butler-like middle-aged man said hurriedly. Oh, so it's the Yu family's patriarch. Sorry for being rude. Lung Ruoxue bowed very politely. It's okay. You don't blame those who don't know. The patriarch of the Yu family said generously. He looked at Lung Ruoxue and the freak while he was at it and praised them in his heart. They were indeed servants raised by a super family. Their mental quality was really different. They might be anxious when they encountered trouble, but they didn't panic at all. Alas, the difference. Therefore, he believed Lung Wuxin's identity a little more. By the way, where's your young miss? What happened just now? The patriarch immediately brought people here when he heard that something happened in the Heartless Garden, the butler-like middle-aged man asked. Yes, is your young miss okay? She is an esteemed guest of our Yu family. Our Yu family can't bear the consequences if anything happens to her, the Yu family's patriarch said with a worried face. I'm not sure what happened to Mississippi. Young Master Yu is coaxing Miss inside the room, not allowing me to come close, Lung Ruoxue said deliberately with some fear. Cooner is inside? Then you don't have to worry. Cooner will coax your young miss, the Yu family's patriarch comforted, his smug old face almost blooming with laughter. But it's been a long time, Lung Ruoxue said worriedly. Don't worry. Let Cooner coax her for a while more. Come, let's sit in the garden. The Yu family's patriarch said to Lung Ruoxue and the freak very kindly. Okay, Lung Ruoxue answered. Then she pulled the freak behind the patriarch of the Yu family and found a random place to sit in the garden. Don't be nervous. Let's have a casual chat. Patriarch Yu said slowly after seeing the two of them sit down. May I know what Patriarch Yu wants to talk to us about? Lung Ruoxue asked curiously. Hee, it's just a casual chat. How long have you been following your young miss? The Yu family's patriarch asked with seeming concern. We've been by Miss' side since we were young. It must have been a long time. Lung Ruoxue said uncertainly. The old fox was probing her. Oh, that should have been for a long time, the patriarch of the Yu family said gloomily. Did this ugly girl not understand what he said, or was there something wrong with his ability to express himself? However, even though he was depressed, he still had to continue asking. Immediately after, he asked some more questions. However, he was completely depressed after asking because he couldn't get any useful information after asking for a long time. Lung Ruoxue glanced at the Yu family head from the corner of her eye and saw that the old man's face was so depressed that it turned black. She couldn't help laughing secretly in her heart. It's not so easy to pry open the mouth of this maidservant. After a moment of silence, the door to Lung Wuxin's room was opened. Chapter 5:15, Clam and Crane Fight 2. Lung Wuxin and Yukun walked out together. They were stunned when they saw the sudden appearance of people in the yard, but they quickly recovered. Father, why are you here? Yukun asked in surprise. However, he couldn't help but grumble in his heart at the same time. Father, aren't you a little too fast? I just settled Sheener and you're already here. I brought people here to take a look because I heard someone screaming in the Heartless Garden. I didn't expect you to be here, the patriarch of the Yu family said calmly. Father, Sheener and I can't control our feelings. Sheener is already mine, Yukun said shyly. What? How can this be? How can you treat Miss Lung like this? The Yu family's patriarch roared with a face full of anger. You must be Miss Lung. I'm sorry to have wronged you. Alas, I didn't teach my son well. Miss Lung, don't worry. I'll go to the Lung family myself to ask for forgiveness. He turned his head after shouting at his son and immediately put on a friendly smile as he said to Lung Wuxin. His face changed so quickly that it was speechless. Father, Sheener and I are in love with each other. We love each other sincerely, Yu-kun said aggrievedly. Uncle Yu, Big Brother Kun is right. However, I hope you can go to my house to propose marriage as soon as possible. Moreover, the betrothal gift must be 10,000-year-old wild ginseng. Otherwise, my parents won't marry me to Big Brother Kun, Lung Wuxin said shyly. Okay, no problem. I'll go prepare now, the Yu family head said happily and left the heartless garden with his men after speaking. After the patriarch of the Yu family left, Yu-kun couldn't wait to pull Lung Wuxin into his arms and said happily, Shiner, I'm so happy. You finally belong to me. Big Brother Kun, I'm tired and want to rest. Can you go back first? Lung Wuxin's beautiful face was full of pleading, and tears flashed in her beautiful eyes. Okay then, I'll go back first. Shiner, I'll see you tomorrow, Yu-kun said reluctantly. Okay. Lung Wuxin nodded slightly and also reluctantly watched Yu-kun leave. However, he immediately vomited as soon as he turned around. Lung Ruoxue and the freak looked at the vomiting empty in surprise and thought, isn't this reaction a little too fast? Damn it, what kind of gaze is that? Having vomited enough, he looked up and happened to see their expressions. Immediately, his anger surged. Nothing. You just had a stomachache. Lung Ruoxue smiled awkwardly, her face full of understanding. Send me in quickly. I want to take a bath. Empty roared furiously. Damn, he was hugged by a stinky man for so long. No wonder he was so disgusted that he vomited. Yes. Lung Ruoxue nodded. Then, with a thought, the three of them entered the bracelet together. The first thing he did after entering the bracelet was to immediately return to his room to take a shower and wash away the stink that the stinky man had left on his body. Lung Ruoxue and the freak sat in the garden as if they were watching a good show. Big sister, I got the news just in time, right? Qingju appeared in front of Lung Ruoxue, looking like he was asking for credit. Big sister had been angry with him for the past 2 days, so he had to be good. Not bad. Lung Ruoxue said lightly. Master, I'm the one performing well, right? It's all thanks to my illusion. The charm wrapped around Lung Ruoxue's wrist couldn't help asking for credit. Yes, Confound has done a great deed, Lung Ruoxue praised generously. Big sister, how can you treat us differently? Boo-hoo, Qingju said aggrievedly. Tears quickly welled up in his eyes, but they refused to fall. All right. Stop pretending to be pitiful. Go to work quickly. The Yu family should be taking action soon in the next 2 days. Lung Ruoxue pinched Qingju's soft little face gently and exposed his thoughts. Boo! Big sister doesn't like Qingju anymore. Big sister exploits child labor. Qingju obediently turned and left, but he kept muttering as he walked. Stinky Qingju! You're bad-mouthing me again. 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down Lung Ruoxue's forehead as she listened to Qingju's nagging. Schwer, you're so cute. The freak smiled happily and stretched out his long arm to pull Lung Ruoxue into his arms. Freak, Empty returned to his room for quite some time, right? Lung Ruoxue asked as she leaned in the freak's arms. Yes, almost half an hour, the freak guessed. How long does he intend to shower? Isn't he an energy body? He can actually bathe? Lung Ruoxue was really too curious. Of course. Several black lines rolled down the freak's forehead. Alas, it was still too early for Schwer to come into contact with these things. What about? Empty's voice suddenly interrupted their conversation and sat down opposite them. Lung Ruoxue looked up at Empty, who looked refreshed after taking a bath, and couldn't help teasing, "We were discussing your bath." What's there to discuss about my bath? Empty's beautiful face was full of question marks. Empty, won't you become spoiled if you bathe? Lung Ruoxue asked curiously. What do you mean? Empty was puzzled. Did he miss something? Because you're an energy body. Lung Ruoxue said with a face full of surprise. Schwer, the energy body isn't made of paper. It can't be broken. 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down Empty's forehead as he said helplessly. Alas, why did this girl always like to let her imagination run wild? That's good. I was really afraid that you would melt. Lung Ruoxue said with a light smile. The three of them were teasing each other when the space in front of them suddenly fluctuated. Qing-ju appeared and said, "Big sister, the Yu family plans to take action tomorrow night." Got it? Qing-ju, get Qing-wu and the others to think of a way to tell the other four families about this. Lung Ruoxue ordered after some thought. Okay, big sister, Qing-ju answered and then disappeared into thin air. Shuer, do you intend to capture them all in one fell swoop? Qing-ju asked curiously after leaving. Chapter 516, Clam and Crane Fight, 3. Yes, but I'm afraid it won't be enough. Lung Ruoxue said thoughtfully. She was mainly afraid that these 5 major forces were still thinking about their old ancestors' final words, so they were unwilling to let loose. The Yu family is the strongest among the 5 major factions. Not only do they have a mystic supremacy, but they also have the most mystic sovereigns. None of the 4 families will be a match for the Yu family in a one-on-one fight. However, the Yu family will definitely be defeated if they join forces. I wonder if the other 4 families will be together? Empty guess. Of course not. Moreover, I don't want them to be too united. It's better if they dragged each other down. Lung Ruoxue said with a light smile. The more chaotic the internal affairs of the 5 major factions, the more beneficial it was for her. Yes, it will save us a lot of trouble if they kill each other. The freak agreed. Well, we will know how far they will fight tomorrow night, Lung Ruoxue said expectantly. Alas. It seems like I'm finally free. There's no more need to pretend to be a woman, Empty said with a sigh of relief. Not necessarily. The 5 major factions have deep roots. How can we let them suffer a huge blow just once? Therefore, you have to continue pretending. Lung Ruoxue said with a naughty smile. How much longer do I have to pretend? Empty asked gloomily with a long face. It won't be too long. Moreover, I guarantee that Yu-kun won't have time to pester you anymore. You can be at ease this way, right? Lung Ruoxue said with a smile. Yes, that's more like it. Empty nodded with satisfaction. In fact, he understood what Shuer meant. If they disappeared immediately after the 5 major factions fought, the 5 major factions would definitely suspect them. At that time, all their efforts these few days would probably be in vain. As the saying went, acting had to be a complete act. Anyway, he had already disguised himself as a woman, so of course, he didn't care about pretending for a few more days. Then let's rest early today and rest up. Let's wait for the show tomorrow night. Lung Ruoxue stood up and said expectantly. Okay, the freak and Empty answered in unison. With that, Lung Ruoxue and the freak entered the purple bamboo hut to rest, and Empty returned to his room. Late the next night, the moon was dark and the wind was high. It was the time when people slept the most soundly. At the same time, it was the best time to do bad things. Lung Ruoxue and the others arrived at the patriarch's mansion early and found a good spot on the roof to watch the show. On the roof, Lung Ruoxue leaned against the freak. There were several cute little beasts in her arms, and in front of them were all sorts of food and snacks. She drank small tea while enjoying the freak's feeding and teasing her beasts. It was so satisfying. Miss, our people are all hidden. The head butler was speechless when he saw everything in front of him. So Miss was really here to watch a show? Yes, head butler, tell them not to be too restrained. They are invisible and the other party can't see them, so they can also be like me, just waiting to watch the show. Lung Ruoxue's beautiful eyes swept across the various corners and reminded. She specially asked Rise to cast an invisibility spell on each of them. Why did those people still look like they were facing a formidable enemy? Alas, the ones watching the show this time were all mystic sovereigns. Why were they still so timid? I told them, the head butler said helplessly. After all, it concerned their future lives, so none of them could be as relaxed as Miss. Oh, head butler, find a place to sit down too. Don't block my vision, Lung Ruoxue said lightly. Her grandfather in the bracelet had sent her a voice transmission just now, saying that the head butler was blocking them. Alas, these old men really couldn't do anything to them. They said they wanted to enter seclusion, but they wanted to watch a good show. She had no choice but to wake them up. Otherwise, she was really afraid that these old men would band together to settle the score with her. Yes, the head butler replied with cold sweat dripping down his forehead. Then he sat down beside Lung Ruoxue and waited for her instructions. In the bracelet. Why aren't the people from the Yu family here yet? Old man Zhao looked around anxiously. They felt that they had entered seclusion since the lass wanted to carry out the honey trap plan. However, she had promised not to forget them if there was a good show. Fortunately, the lass had a conscience. What's the hurry? It's not even dawn yet. Lin Liang said as he sat on a stone chair, eating fruits in his hand. I'll be too late by dawn. Old man Zhao roared furiously. Boo! Was it easy for him to come out of seclusion? He didn't know when he would be able to come out again in the future, yet he waited so long for nothing. How unprofessional. The wild monkey can't sit still anymore, right? The old man smiled happily, gloating a little. Get lost. You're the wild monkey. Old man Zhao glared at the old man and said fiercely. I didn't hug a tree to sleep, the old man continued provoking fearlessly. You. Old man Zhao was about to roar when he saw the people from the Yu family. His attention was immediately attracted, and he had long forgotten to bicker with the old man. The show is about to begin. Everyone focus. Qing Ju stood in front of the light curtain he created and took the role of the commentator on the scene. It's over. The Yu family has been completely surrounded. The show has officially begun. Qing Ju said excitedly. The atmosphere in the bracelet was lively and fiery. Lung Qingtian and the others, as well as the beasts, were all focused on the light curtain, afraid that they would miss any exciting scene. Boo! They might not be able to see it live, but a live broadcast would do as well. They would also cheer and encourage both sides in the battle. The excitement of watching the commotion was high, but the protagonists of the battle were not in a good mood. The people from the Yu family, who were surrounded, were depressed to death, and the other 4 families were not in a good mood because this should be the first true battle between them. All the elites from the 5 parties were deployed. The previous ones might occasionally have large-scale casualties, but it was only a small fight compared to this one. Chapter 517, Clam and Crane Fight 4. You're really too shameless. You actually came to my Yu family to rob me. The Yu family's patriarch took the lead to launch an attack. They had already decided to fall out anyway, so why should he leave any face for you? He has always been shameless, isn't this normal? The Ni family head added oil to the fire. His son was beaten up badly by Yukun, and now he was lying in bed, unable to move. Therefore, he had wanted to take revenge for his son for a long time, and at the same time, vent the wronged anger he had suffered for many years. It just so happened that the Yu family had the same intentions, so they hit it off immediately. Why are you wasting your breath on him? Let's start fighting directly. The patriarch of the Zhao family was impatient. He couldn't help becoming a little anxious seeing that they didn't start fighting for a long time. Don't blame me for not caring about the past since you want to die. The Yu family head's face darkened as he forced himself to be calm and said coldly. His heart had been searching for someone who might betray him, but he couldn't think of who it was after thinking for a long time because only his trusted aide knew about their operation today. He was very sure that his trusted aide would never betray him. Caring about the paste? Have you ever gone anything for us? The Fong family's patriarch snorted disdainfully. Since you think so, don't blame me for being heartless. The Yu family's patriarch took out his weapon with slight anger and injected mystic energy into it to attack the Fong family's patriarch directly. Everyone from the Yu family also found their opponents to prepare for a fight when they saw the patriarch taking action. The patriarch of the Fong family dodged quickly, avoiding the sharp attack. However, he couldn't help breaking out in cold sweat. Damn, everyone was talking. Why did this lunatic look for him first? He was so angry. At the same time, he didn't forget to ask for help. Hurry up and help. Everyone, follow the plan, the Yu family head ordered after seeing the situation. That old man from the Yu family was a supremacy. He didn't know if the 4 of them could deal with him. However, They had to injure him seriously even if they couldn't kill him. Otherwise, their plan would be in vain. The moment the patriarch of the Yu family finished speaking, the four of them joined forces to deal with the patriarch of the Wan family. The subordinates of the four families also separately fought with the people of the Yu family. For a time, saber lights and sword shadows flashed non-stop in the patriarch's mansion, and colorful mystic energy flew everywhere. The mystic cultivators fell to the ground as if they were relays and lost their lives forever. The five great forces of 10,000 Mountain City treated the Yu family's mansion as their battlefield, and they were carrying out a battle of destiny here. On the roof, Lung Ruoxue narrowed her eyes as she watched the battle below and nodded with slight satisfaction. Well, this was more like it. She just didn't know how many elites would the five major forces lose after this battle. However, the more the better. Miss, this is too intense. The head butler was a little dumbfounded as he looked at the intense battle in the yard and murmured, "Yes, get used to it." In fact, the five major forces have long had a deep grudge. Otherwise, a small honey trap would not have such an effect. What they need is just a fuse to blow up the conflict between them, and I happen to give them one, Lung Ruoxue explained lightly. "Yes, I understand," the head butler said respectfully. He really admired Lung Ruoxue now. Without the suppression of the five major factions, the people you took in should be able to fend for themselves in the future. Lung Ruoxue looked at the butler. "Yes, definitely. Miss saved them," the head butler said quickly. "There's no need to flatter me. I'm not doing this for them, but for myself. They are big trouble and I hate trouble the most," Lung Ruoxue said without giving them any face. In fact, she just wanted to find a corner for them and help those troubles along the way. The head butler was depressed. Why did others always suck up to the right person but him? This was too unfair. Head butler, the strength of the five major factions was greatly damaged this time. They have been operating in Myriad Mountain City for many years after all, so it's best for you not to act rashly for the time being, Lung Ruoxue said after some thought. "Yes, I understand," the main butler quickly replied. He would not be anxious. He had survived for so many years. Couldn't he wait for this little time? "Okay, let's go back first. There should be an outcome tomorrow," Lung Ruoxue said when she saw that the fight in the patriarch's yard was almost over. There was no point in staying any longer. "Yes." The head butler nodded. Lung Ruoxue stored the other beasts in the bracelet, leaving Quill outside. Quill carried them back to the Heartless Garden. After returning to the room in the Heartless Garden, Lung Ruoxue brought the freak into the bracelet. Lung Qingtian and the others were already waiting for them. "Shuer, you're here," Lung Qingtian said happily, his face full of joy. His granddaughter's plan was very successful. "Grandpa, why are you so excited?" Lung Ruoxue asked in puzzlement. "Did she miss something?" Lass, we can do whatever we want in Myriad Mountain City from now on," Old Man Zao said happily, his old face almost blooming with laughter. "Do whatever we want?" The five major factions are deeply rooted and not so easy to uproot. Lung Ruoxue was not as optimistic as Old Man Zao. How could a one-time internal strife destroy the five major factions so easily? If that was the case, the five major factions would have been replaced long ago. They would not have been able to dominate Myriad Mountain City for so many years. Then what should we do? Are we going to give up this good opportunity? Old Man Zao said with some pity. Many mystic sovereigns had died in the five major factions tonight. He felt that they should seize this opportunity. It's still a little early. Wait a while more. Lung Ruoxue said very cautiously. There were several mystic sovereigns among her subordinates, but other than Qing Wu and a few others who were relatively stronger among the mystic sovereigns, the other mystic sovereigns were only at the bottom among the same level. They could be said to be of little use if they really fought each other. Shuer is right. We can't rush this matter. Lung Qingtian immediately understood his granddaughter's thoughts after some thought. Chapter 518. The Dust Settles. 1. Grandpa, I think you can just enter seclusion peacefully. Leave this to the head butler and the others, Lung Ruoxue suggested. Yes, we are too weak now. It will be difficult for us to do anything. The most important thing now is indeed to improve our strength as soon as possible, Lung Qingtian agreed. Lass, then let's continue our seclusion. Old man Zhao said tactfully. Ooh, he was still a mystic. He didn't know when he would be able to break through to become a great mystic. Alas, he didn't dare to think about the mystic monarch now. It was too far away from him. Okay. Lung Ruoxue nodded and watched the reluctant old men enter their rooms before turning her gaze to Zero. No. Do you think the Yu family will seek help from the Lung family? Lung Ruoxue asked curiously. I wouldn't ask for help if I were him. This is really embarrassing for him. After all, he is also a mystic supremacy, Empty said with a smile. Based on his understanding of the Yu family's patriarch, that old man should be a cautious and prideful person, so he would never ask for help. Okay. Lung Ruoxue nodded in agreement. She wanted to go with him on this point. However, she had to be careful. It would be a little troublesome if the old man turned his face away and didn't ask for help from the Lung family. Therefore, she had to be careful. Swear, don't worry. That old man will definitely not be able to put down his dignity, Empty said with certainty. Yes, Empty. It's getting late. Let's go and rest. Lung Ruoxue looked at the time and said. Then she entered the purple bamboo hut with the freak. In the next few days, Myriad Mountain City fell into silence. The commercial flow of Myriad Mountain City was as normal as usual. There was a strong tremor among the upper echelons of the 5 major factions. Everyone was in danger because only they knew how tragic the battle late at night was. Countless mystic monarchs and mystic sovereigns were either dead or injured. Nearly 2/3 of the strength of the 5 major factions had been lost. Now, the 5 parties had entered a dormant period to recuperate and wait for an opportunity to take action. At the main residence of the Yu family. In the patriarch's room. The patriarch of the Yu family lay on the bed with injuries all over his body. His face was very pale at this moment, and his originally handsome face had a worried frown. Moreover, he didn't say a word, so no one knew what he was thinking. Father! Yu Kun's voice sounded in the room, and he strode in. Kuner, how's the investigation going? The patriarch of the Yu family looked up and asked coldly when he heard his son's voice. Alas! The loss this time was really too serious. Not only did he obtain nothing, but he also completely fell out with the other 4 families. Moreover, he didn't dare to trust anyone easily except for his son now. At least, everyone was very suspicious before he found out who betrayed him. Father, I didn't find out. I'm sorry. I was too useless, Yu Kun said self-reproachfully. Kuner, how can I blame you? That traitor is too cunning, the Yu family head said through gritted teeth. If he found that person, he would definitely tear that person who dared to betray him into pieces. Father, I will continue to send people to monitor everyone. Don't worry. Yu Kun promised. Yes, Kuna. Father might be injured badly, but the other 4 old things are not any better than me. Tell everyone to be alert lest they launch a sneak attack, the Yu family's patriarch ordered. Yes, I will, Yu Kun said. Kuner, did you invite the alchemist I asked you to invite? The Yu family's patriarch asked. His injuries were too serious. It was very difficult for him to recover unless an alchemy supremacy specially concocted a heaven-grade pill to treat his injuries. Father, I've already sent people to look for him. However, they have also reported that the alchemist isn't at home now, Yu Kun said gloomily. He had also heard that there was a mysterious and powerful alchemist in Myriad Mountain City. He immediately sent people to invite him after Father was injured, but he didn't find him. Get someone to guard his house. Invite him back immediately if you find his whereabouts. In addition, send someone to the Alchemist Association to invite an alchemist supremacy over. The Yu family patriarch ordered. He couldn't hang himself on a tree. If he couldn't find this alchemist, then he had to go to the Alchemist Association, even though it would take a lot of time to go there and back. Father, I've already sent people there, Yu Kun said. Yes, Kuner, you're really becoming more thoughtful now, the Yu family's patriarch said very happily. Father, you are the pillar of our Yu family. How can I let anything happen to you? Yukun said fearfully. Alas. He knew very well that if something happened to his father, their Yu family would be completely finished. He could not support the Yu family with his current strength. Kuner, don't worry. Father will be fine. Alas. Father is tired. Go out first. The Yu family's patriarch ordered and then closed his eyes. Father, rest well. Yukun left quietly after speaking. For the past few days, the entire Yu family, old and young, were on high alert. However, the Heartless Garden was a relaxed and happy scene. In the garden, Lung Ruoxue, the freak, and Empty were sitting on a stone bench, drinking tea and eating snacks, especially Empty. He felt so good without that annoying man pestering him. Miss, your fiancé is so busy now that he doesn't have time to visit you. Why aren't you worried at all? Lung Ruoxue looked at the slightly smug Empty and teased softly. Damn girl, why did you mention him? Empty gritted his teeth and looked at Lung Ruoxue with displeasure on his beautiful face. Schwer is right. I also think you're too heartless. The freak added oil to the fire. Do the two of you want to anger me to death? It wasn't easy for us to have some peace and quiet for a few days. He didn't come to bother me, but you mentioned him instead. Empty roared furiously. He could finally tell that these two people were doing it on purpose. They wanted to anger him to death. Two baddies. Ha, freak, I'm right? Empty turned hostile. Lung Ruoxue said with a light smile. Hee, she just made a bet with the freak, saying that Empty would definitely turn hostile if he heard anything related to Yukun. The freak didn't believe it. He lost to her now. Chapter 519, The Dust Settles, 2. Yes, you won. The freak said with eyes full of affection, his face not depressed at all from losing. Damn it, you actually used me as a bet? No one listened as their lungs were about to explode. Were these two people too bored recently? Yo, are you really angry? I was just joking with you. Don't tell me you're so petty? Lung Ruoxue coaxed helplessly. Alas. Empty's temper had been getting worse recently. She really didn't know if his menopause had arrived. Why don't you think about how to let them continue fighting if you have the time to bet with me? They have been calm for a few days. Empty reminded them. The 5 major forces were heavily injured now, and they would probably not start a conflict for the time being. This way, their plan would have to be delayed again. That was not the outcome he wanted to see. Don't worry. I have my own plans. Lung Ruoxue smiled mysteriously. What did you do behind my back again? Empty asked curiously. Nothing. Lung Ruoxue pretended to be stupid. Do you know? Empty turned his head and asked the freak. Know what? The freak pretended to be stupid. You are too disloyal. We are comrades. How can you hide it from me? Empty said aggrievedly. Tears welled up in his beautiful eyes, and he looked like he was about to cry. Lung Ruoxue was at a loss for words. Empty was also using this move. Schwer. Lung Ruhan's voice suddenly sounded in Lung Ruoxue's head. Big brother is out of seclusion. Lung Ruoxue said happily. At the same time, she brought the freak and Empty into the bracelet with a thought. After entering the bracelet, Lung Ruoxue looked at the stunningly beautiful man standing not far away from her and couldn't help but throw herself into his arms. She choked up a little and said, Big brother, I missed you so much. Schwer, elder brother misses you too. Lung Ruhan hugged his beloved sister tightly and said excitedly. Empty stood a few meters away from Lung Ruoxue and her brother, looking at the extremely discordant handsome man and ugly woman hugging each other. He poked the freak with his arm gossipily and said, Hey, why aren't you jealous? It's really too rare. That's Schwer's elder brother. The freak glared at Empty fiercely and said with slight displeasure. How could he not be jealous? He just didn't show it. Oh. Empty deliberately dragged out his voice and said in realization. What are you doing? Come over quickly. Lung Ruoxue turned to look at the freak and nothing after hugging her brother warmly and urged them. Coming, the freak said hurriedly. He took 2 steps and arrived in front of Lung Ruhan. Big brother, you finally emerged from seclusion, the freak said happily. Yes, I can finally break through to the spiritual deity with my own strength, Lung Ruhan said excitedly. The day before they left the Ling Feng continent, he, Feng De, and the others decided to enter seclusion because their strength was too low and they would not be of much help to Shuer when they arrived in the upper realm. Therefore, they all unanimously decided that they would definitely not come out of seclusion unless they reached the spiritual deity realm. Today, his wish was finally fulfilled, and he could fight alongside Shuer again. Ha, big brother, congratulations. Lung Ruoxue said happily. Alas, Shuer, I don't know your level at all now. It seems like I'm much behind you again. Lung Ruhan sighed softly and said helplessly. Big brother, don't worry. The cultivation methods in this world might be slightly different from those on our Ling Feng continent, but with your aptitude, you can catch up to us quickly, Lung Ruoxue comforted. Yes, I will work hard, Lung Ruhan said with great determination. He would stand by his sister's side and fight alongside her in the future, so he naturally would not give up on himself. Big brother, his name is Empty. We met here. Lung Ruoxue pointed at Empty and introduced him to her brother. Hello. Lung Ruhan sized up Empty and said very friendly. Since he could enter this place, Shuer must believe him very much, so Lung Ruhan naturally believed this man because he believed in Shuer's taste. Hello. I've heard a lot about you, but what I'm more curious about is how do you know that she's definitely your younger sister? She looks different from your younger sister, doesn't she? Empty said in puzzlement. He heard that Lung Ruhan and the others had already entered seclusion before they arrived at the boundless heaven continent. Then he shouldn't know that his younger sister had changed her appearance. But why didn't he suspect that the person in front of him was not his younger sister at all? How can I mistake my own sister? I will recognize her at a glance no matter what she becomes, Lung Ruhan said very confidently. Impressive, elder brother said with admiration. Alas. No wonder Shuer kept saying that she had a good brother. He was really envious of the deep relationship between the siblings. Take your time chatting. Big brother, it'll bring you to a place where you can advance. Lung Ruoxue suggested. When would Feng De and the others come out of seclusion? Okay. Lung Ruhan nodded. After that, Lung Ruoxue left the bracelet with the freak and summoned Quill and Rise. She got Quill to cast an invisibility spell on them and then got Quill to carry them to the uninhabited deep stream. After reaching the deep stream, Lung Ruoxue moved her brother out of the bracelet and then stood quietly by the side with the freak. After a long while, the heaven-earth laws finally descended into the deep stream, and Lung Ruhan officially advanced to the spiritual deity realm. His beasts also advanced individually. After the advancement, Lung Ruoxue and the others quickly returned to the Heartless Garden. Half a month later, Lung Ruoxue and the others had been staying quietly in the Heartless Garden for the past half a month. They drank tea and chatted every day, and they carefully observed every move of the 5 great factions of 10,000 Mountain City through Qingju. They watched quietly. During this period, several intense battles broke out among the 5 major forces. Among them, the patriarch of the Yu and Zhao families were accidentally killed by the Yu family in chaos. Yu Kun also led the experts of the Yu family and took the opportunity to destroy the leaderless Yu and Zhao families. At this point, the Yu and Zhao families officially disappeared from the 5 major forces, and the battles between the other 3 major forces were still going on endlessly. Chapter 520. The Dust Settles. 3. However, what made Lung Ruoxue the happiest was not the battle situation between the 5 great factions, but that Feng De and the others had emerged from seclusion. Moreover, each of them could advance to spiritual deity. After a short gathering, Lung Ruoxue brought them to the uninhabited deep stream to advance. Then she sent her beasts to send her brother, Feng De, and the others to Windless City where Lan Ming was to transmute spiritual power. At this moment, more than 10 days had passed since Lung Ruhan and the others left the Heartless Garden. However, they had yet to return, so Lung Ruoxue couldn't help being a little anxious. In the garden of the Heartless Garden. Shuer, it's only been more than 10 days. Don't worry, it will probably take a few days for them to convert their spiritual power. The freak comforted helplessly as he looked at Lung Ruoxue pacing around the garden. That's right. What's there to worry about? They have such good aptitude, so they will definitely take longer to convert spiritual power than ordinary spiritual deities. Moreover, didn't Icy accompany them too? Empty comforted. I know, but I just can't help but worry. Lung Ruoxue said helplessly. Alas. Concern led to confusion. Those people were her relatives, so how could she not be worried? I think you should focus your energy on the 3 major factions now. We've stayed here for long enough. Empty reminded. Fortunately, Yukun did not have time to harass him during this period of time. Otherwise, he would definitely be depressed to death. I didn't forget them. Lung Ruoxue said with a naughty smile. What did you do again? Empty asked doubtfully. Was she hiding it from him again? I didn't do anything. Lung Ruoxue turned her face to the side and deliberately ignored Empty. You didn't tell me again. Boo. You actually teamed up to bully me. You're so evil. His handsome face was full of grievance as he complained with a slight sob. Unfortunately, his pitiful appearance was once again ignored blatantly by Lung Ruoxue and the freak. The next day, the news that Yukun was killed by the combined forces of the Ni and Fong families shocked the entire Yu family. The patriarch of the Yu family ignored his injured body and led people into the Ni and Fong families in a fit of anger, and an intense war broke out between the 2 families. Empty, we can leave now. Lung Ruoxue turned to Empty in the heartless garden. Great, we can finally leave. A smile appeared on the incomparably handsome face. He really wanted to leave this birdcage. Lung Ruoxue summoned the little peacock from the bracelet. The 3 of them sat on its back and left the heartless garden, flying directly to the village they were staying in the hut behind the mountain. Lung Ruoxue sat on the main seat. On each side of her were the freak and Empty. The head butler and Cheng Wu stood in front of them and reported the results of their work. Miss, there are no more 5 major forces in 10,000 Mountain City now, the head butler said excitedly. Yesterday, the Yu family had a very tragic battle with the Ni and Fong families, and they took advantage of the chaos to attack. When both sides fought until both sides were injured, the fishermen benefited and became the final winner. Alas. The heads of the 5 major forces thought they were famous all their lives, but they died in a daze in the end. How tragic! Yes, how many people are still attached to the 5 major forces? Lung Ruoxue asked after some thought. Not many. Only a few small fries are left. The powerhouses above the mystic monarch basically died in these few battles, the main butler explained. What do you intend to do with those people? Lung Ruoxue asked again. Please enlighten us, miss. The head butlers and Cheng Wu's eyes met as they said in unison. They were completely convinced by Lung Ruoxue now. If you want to keep them for your own use, get them to establish a loyalty contract. Otherwise, deal with them all. Lung Ruoxue said without any emotion. She was not a compassionate person, nor would she pity her enemies. Her kindness would only be reserved for her own people. Yes, the head butler and Cheng Wu quickly answered. They knew that their miss meant to let them decide. Miss, the shops in the inner city are now under our control. What are your plans, miss? The head butler asked very respectfully. Head butler, I told you that you will be in charge of Myriad Mountain City in the future. You can discuss those things by yourself. Don't ask me everything. Lung Ruoxue said very irresponsibly. Upon hearing Lung Ruoxue's words, the freak couldn't help but chuckle. It seemed like Schwer was planning to leave everything to him. Seeing this scene, he couldn't help thinking of how Schwer was also so cute and troublesome back in the Ling Feng continent. Ah! The head butler was stunned and a little dumbfounded when he heard Lung Ruoxue's words. What did Miss mean? Did she not want to care about them anymore? Miss, you can't leave us alone. The head butler said sadly and looked at Lung Ruoxue resentfully with the eyes of a wronged little wife. Head butler, you are already an adult and don't need others to take care of you. Lung Ruoxue's forehead was full of black lines as she said speechlessly, what was he planning to rely on her for? We really need Miss Wise guidance, the head butler said shamelessly. That's right. We need Miss Wisdom and Decisiveness. Cheng Wu quickly echoed. Head butler, I don't have the intention to lead you. I only took a liking to your village because I wanted to find a place to stay. In fact, the reason why I helped you was mainly because I found you troublesome. However, we live on the same mountain after all, so I only helped you a little as payment for lodging, that's all. Lung Ruoxue declined. Well, she didn't want to be stuck with this group of people. Otherwise, she would have endless worries in the future. Miss, you didn't pay for lodging. You bought the entire Myriad Mountain City, including us of course. The head butler said pitifully, so anxious that he was about to cry. Is that so? Since I paid too much, convert it into money and return it to me. Lung Ruoxue frowned and said helplessly. We don't have money, only those shops and ourselves. Why don't you take it back, miss? The head butler said with a smile. Chapter 521. The dust settles, for, no, I won't take it back since the goods are out. 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down Lung Ruoxue's forehead. Why was this head butler so stubborn? Why did the mighty mystic sovereign insist on a great mystic like her? Miss, we don't have money now, but we'll return the money to you when we earn it. We'll take our leave to earn money first. Cheng Wu suddenly said, and then pulled the head butler, who was about to continue persuading Lung Ruoxue, away. Swear, looks like they're determined to pester you. The head butler and Cheng Wu gloated after leaving. Alas! Lung Ruoxue sighed helplessly, feeling depressed. Didn't she say it very clearly? Why were they still pestering her? Swear, actually, it's not bad to have them as your backing to earn money. Why don't you consider taking them in? Empty suggested. Let's discuss again later. I don't have that idea now, Lung Ruoxue said. Swear we're back. Lung Ruhan's voice sounded from outside the room. Lung Ruoxue hurriedly stood up and ran out of the room after hearing her brother's voice. Big brother, you're finally back. In the yard, Lung Ruoxue threw herself into Lung Ruhan's arms, who had just jumped down from Quill's back, and said worriedly. Swear, sorry for making you worry, Lung Ruhan said shyly. What's there to worry about with me around? Alas, I'm so sad. Little Snowy actually doubted my strength. Boo! Icy's blue eyes welled up with tears as it lay on Quill's back aggrievedly and looked at Lung Ruoxue. Little Icy, how would I dare to doubt your strength? I was just worried. Lung Ruoxue hurriedly hugged it and coaxed it after hearing Icy's words. I know. Forget it, I forgive you, Icy said generously. Thank you, little Icy, Lung Ruoxue said happily as she caressed Icy's head. Big brother, why did you take so long? Lung Ruoxue looked up and asked in puzzlement. Logically speaking, they should have arrived in 2 days if Windless City was flying day and night from Myriad Mountain City. However, her brother and the others had actually been there for nearly half a month. My spiritual power conversion took a long time, so it took some time, Lung Ruhan explained. Oh, big brother, the longer the spiritual power conversion, the better your aptitude is. Lung Ruoxue was relieved seeing that the reason why her brother and the others returned late was as they had guessed. Alas! I've been ignored. Suddenly, a resentful voice sounded. Lung Ruoxue looked in the direction of the voice and found a familiar face among Feng Da and the others. She couldn't help saying in surprise, Little Lon Lon, why are you here? Can I come? Or do you not welcome me? Little Snowy, you're a heartless baddie. Lan Ming's bright black eyes looked at Lung Ruoxue resentfully, his handsome face full of grievance. That's not what I mean. I wanted to say, how did you have the time to come when you're so busy? Lung Ruoxue said hurriedly. Me? Busy? Very few people in my union convert spiritual power other than you. What do you think I can be busy with? Lan Ming glared at Lung Ruoxue and asked angrily. You're the president. There should be many things to settle. Lung Ruoxue guessed. No, I'm very free, Lan Ming said with certainty. Oh, then welcome, Lung Ruoxue said helplessly. Alas! She really didn't expect Lan Ming to follow them back. It seemed like she had to welcome him warmly. Little Snowy, you left without saying goodbye. You've seriously hurt my fragile heart. Tell me, how do you intend to compensate me? Lan Ming deliberately put on a stern face and said with slight displeasure. Why should I compensate you? Lung Ruoxue asked in puzzlement. You left without saying goodbye. Shouldn't you compensate me? Lan Ming said matter-of-factly. Should we? Lung Ruoxue looked at the freak with a face full of question marks. You shouldn't. What's there to compensate for? We're not very familiar with each other, the freak said indifferently as if he was talking about someone unrelated. Lan Ming was so angry. What kind of person was this? How could there be such a despicable person? He came eagerly, but he actually said that they were not familiar with him. Boo! Little Lon Lon, didn't I tell you not to come? Why did you insist on coming? Alas. Great, you must feel bad now. Icy said very sympathetically. You're all baddies. Lan Ming roared angrily. Little Lon Lon, hee, we were joking with you. However, forget about the compensation. I don't have money. Lung Ruoxue said very stingily. She had so many subordinates. She had to be a miser. You don't have money yet? You've earned a lot just from the Lan family's money. Lan Ming exposed her. I have many subordinates. Look at how many mouths I have to feed. Lung Ruoxue said bitterly. Yes, my young miss is very poor. Alas. Feng De said very cooperatively. You're all on the same side. Of course you'll help her. Lan Ming pouted with great dissatisfaction. Of course. Little Lon Lon, since you're here, stay here for a few days. Lung Ruoxue said very politely. At least she thought she was very hospitable. Stay for a few days? Of course I have to stay for a few days. Don't tell me you originally planned to chase me away today? Lan Ming widened his eyes and said loudly. No. How can that be? Lung Ruoxue quickly denied. She wouldn't admit it. In fact, she really had that intention. Little Snowy, listen carefully. I plan to stay here for a long time. Lan Ming revealed his decision. Alas. He kept feeling like something was missing after breaking up with them, so he decided to stay for a few more days to find the reason and see what was going on. Welcome, Lung Ruoxue said helplessly. Just like that, Lan Ming stayed in the village for a long time. A month later, Lung Ruhan and the others had all broken through to Elementary Mystic. In the yard at the back of the mountain, Lan Ming looked at Lung Ruoxue and the others as if they were monsters and couldn't help saying, You're a group of perverts. Chapter 522, Going to the Rescue in Carefree City? Yes. He really couldn't understand how this group of perverts gathered together. To be honest, there were very few people who could break through to Elementary Mystics within a month. Moreover, those who could break through in such a short time would all be powerhouses in the future. Little Lon Lon, our aptitude is just a little better than others, Lung Ruoxue said very modestly. A little? How long has it been since I last saw you? You and this freak are both great mystics now. Is that still just a little? Lan Ming said in disbelief. They were only spiritual deities when he first knew these people. However, Lung Ruoxue and that freak were both great mystics now, and their strength was only one level lower than his. Alas. One had to know that he had cultivated for more than 30 years. This was really a huge blow to him. We're lucky, Lung Ruoxue said nonchalantly. They couldn't have cultivated so quickly without the Heaven and Earth bracelet, so of course Lan Ming couldn't compare to them in this aspect. All right, consider yourselves lucky. Lan Ming was speechless because he couldn't tell these freaks clearly. Miss, someone in Myriad Mountain City is looking for your whereabouts. At this moment, the head butler suddenly appeared and reported. Oh, who's looking for me? Lung Ruoxue was a little puzzled. Could it be Zheng En? They had been gone for several months and hadn't been looking for her. She didn't know how they were doing. Did everything go smoothly? I don't know, but it's not someone Miss mentioned previously, the head butler said. Miss had told them that if someone named Zheng En looked for him, they would bring him here directly. However, That person was not the person mismentioned. Oh, bring him here for me to take a look, Lung Ruoxue said. She didn't know many people in the boundless heaven continent. Apart from Zheng En and the little old man, no one else knew that they were here at all. Could they be related to Zheng En? Yes, the head butler answered and left. Before long, the head butler returned with a middle-aged man in his 40s following behind him. That man had good facial features and was not tall. He looked very honest and sincere. He was not strong and was only an elementary mystic. Lung Ruoxue looked at the man and said lightly, "Are you looking for me?" "Are you Lung Ruoxue?" the middle-aged man asked uncertainly. "Yes, I'm Lung Ruoxue." Lung Ruoxue nodded. "Do you know His Excellency Du Min?" the middle-aged man asked. "Yes." Lung Ruoxue nodded and thought that it was indeed related to them. Could something have happened to them? Ning Yuan, an ordinary alchemist from the Alchemist Association. The middle-aged man introduced himself first. "Hello, may I know why Alchemist Ning is looking for me?" Lung Ruoxue asked bluntly. "His Excellency Du Min asked me to look for you. Something happened to him and someone named Zheng En." Ning Yuan said. "What happened?" Lung Ruoxue's heart skipped a beat, but she still maintained her composure on the surface. However, her heart was already full of thoughts because she really couldn't understand. The little old man was a mystic supremacy, and his status in the Alchemist Association was very transcendent. How could something happen with him around? There was internal strife in the Alchemist Association. His Excellency Du Min, the president, and some elders were placed under house arrest. The person in charge of the association now is Sun Wei. Ning Yuan explained. "What happened? Sun Wei shouldn't be so powerful alone, right?" Lung Ruoxue didn't believe that Sun Wei could overturn the sky unless there was someone supporting him from behind, and his backer was very likely the Sun family. Sun Wei obtained the support of the Sun family and the Mystic Association, and he bribed many elders, so it was easy to succeed, Ning Yuan said gloomily. After all, this was also a scandal of the Alchemist Association. He would not have said these things if His Excellency Du Min hadn't asked him to find someone. That's impossible. Why would the Mystic Association be involved in the internal strife of the Alchemist Association? Lan Ming said in disbelief. The Mystic Association might be controlled by Wu Gong now, but there were still many elders in the association. They shouldn't allow him to act recklessly, right? Something happened to the Mystic Association headquarters as well. Many elders who were at odds with President Wu were locked up. Ning Yuan revealed another shocking inside story. Immediately, Lan Ming lost his composure. "What about the president? How's the president?" Lan Ming said anxiously. His master had been in seclusion. Would Wu Gong attack his master? I'm not sure about the internal affairs of the Mystic Association headquarters, but I heard that the place where the president is in seclusion is now heavily guarded. Not even a fly can fly in. Ning Yuan told him what he knew. "Little Snowy, what should we do now?" Lan Ming was a little flustered. He was really afraid that something would happen to his master. "Calm down. I don't think Sun Wei, Wu Gong, and the others will attack them now. Let's go to Carefree City immediately to investigate the situation and then think of a way to save them," Lung Ruoxue said after some thought while contacting Baby in her heart. "Big sister, what's the matter?" Baby sent a voice transmission softly. "Baby, help me see if this person is telling the truth." Lung Ruoxue ordered. This person might be sent by Du Min, but Lung Ruoxue would not completely believe him until she was sure, and Baby was the best proof. "Okay," Baby answered and then used mind reading to observe carefully. After a while, Baby said, "Big sister, he's telling the truth." "Thank you, Baby." Lung Ruoxue said directly to Weiless, "Empty, let's go tomorrow." "Okay," Empty said from his chair. Alas, he really didn't expect the Mystic Association to be so chaotic now. One had to know that the previous association headquarters was full of talents, but it was actually so deformed now. He was really too angry. It seemed like he had to rectify it. "Head butler, help me arrange some people. I want to go to Carefree City." Lung Ruoxue turned her head and ordered. She knew very well that they really couldn't defeat Wugong and the others with their current strength, so she needed to borrow some of Myriad Mountain City's strength. Chapter 523, Going to the Rescue in Carefree City? 2. Yes, miss, the head butler answered and immediately went to make the arrangements. The next day, Lung Ruoxue and the others, who were already prepared, set off. This time, neither she nor the freak disguised themselves. However, Lan Ming changed his appearance and transformed from an incomparably handsome man to an abnormally ugly middle-aged man. Half a month later, Lung Ruoxue and the others finally arrived at Carefree City after flying day and night. At the city gate, the freak looked at Schwer's beautiful face and felt very uncomfortable because Schwer's beauty was about to be seen by everyone. Boo! He was really unwilling. However, in order to save Jing En and the little old man, they had no choice but to appear in front of everyone in their original appearance. They had changed their appearance the last time they came. Schwer! The freak pouted unhappily. Freak, well, leave this place after we save Jing En and the little old man, Lung Ruoxue comforted. Of course, she knew what the freak cared about. However, if they entered the city without recovering their original appearance, they would quickly be discovered by Sun Wei and the others. It was also impossible to become invisible. Otherwise, what should she do at night? Could she let so many people sleep on the streets with her? Yes. The freak nodded. Let's enter the city. Lung Ruoxue turned to everyone. Okay. Everyone answered in unison, and then walked into Carefree City with Lung Ruoxue and the freak. It was not her first time here, so Lung Ruoxue led everyone directly into the Carefree Pavilion and booked rooms for everyone under the stunned gazes of the pedestrians on the street. In the living room, Lan Ming looked at the luxurious room and looked at Lung Ruoxue in surprise. Wow, you're so stingy. You're actually willing to book such a good room for each of us. It's really not easy. Don't be smug. You'll get the money for your room back from you later, Lung Ruoxue said with a smile. You're fussing over this as well? Lan Ming said in disbelief. This girl had earned a lot of money from him, so why didn't she let him go? Alas. How tragic. He already owed a lot. At first, when he stayed in the village, little Snowy made delicious food for him every day, causing him to think that Lung Ruoxue treated him as an esteemed guest. Later on, he knew that he was overthinking because that stingy person helped him remember everything he ate here, saying that they would settle the bill together at the end. Boo! Even biological brothers have to settle scores openly. Moreover, we're not. We have to settle the scores even more clearly, Lung Ruoxue said with a naughty smile. Alas. Remember then. Don't chase after but if I can't repay you when the time comes. Lan Ming said worriedly. You can't repay it? It's okay. You can repay the debt with your body, Lung Ruoxue said with a light smile, her beautiful eyes flashing with teasing. I don't want to. Lan Ming said fearfully. The scene of those Lan family elders paying the debt with their bodies was still vivid in his mind. He didn't dare to owe this girl money. It was really too terrifying. Little Lan, you're more familiar with this place. I'll leave the investigation of the current situation to you. Is there a problem? Lung Ruoxue stopped teasing him and asked. No problem. However, you have to get your beasts to help me become invisible, Lan Ming suggested. Wugong had many experts. He would definitely be discovered if he went directly. The success rate would be much higher if he became invisible. Okay. Lung Ruoxue nodded and summoned Ling, help little Lan turn invisible. Lung Ruoxue ordered. Yes, master, Ling answered. Then it cast an invisibility spell on Lan Ming. It said to Lan Ming, it's done. Little Snowy, I'm going then. Lan Ming left the Carefree Hall quietly after speaking. Miss, I'll go ask my friends about the situation too. Cheng Wu bowed and left. This time, he recommended himself to save Lung Ruoxue together, so he had to perform well. Okay, be careful on the road. Don't expose your identity, Lung Ruoxue reminded. Got it? I'll be careful, Cheng Wu promised and then left the Carefree Pavilion. Miss, shall we gather some news too? The other mystic sovereigns who came with Lung Ruoxue said in unison. This time, they came with the mood to render meritorious service, so they wanted to perform well. I'm afraid it will attract the attention of the Mystic Association if you all go out. You should return to your rooms to rest. Lung Ruoxue said after some thought. The people who came out with her this time were all mystic sovereigns. The Mystic Association would probably target them if so many unfamiliar faces appeared at once. Yes, everyone answered very respectfully after hearing Lung Ruoxue's words. Then they bowed to Lung Ruoxue and left the living room to their rooms. Schwer, what are we doing? The freak asked after the others left. Freak, let's go to the Alchemist Association to take a look. Lung Ruoxue said after some thought. She still didn't know what the Alchemist Association would be like. Moreover, if she could find the little old man and Zheng, she could save them directly. I'll go too, Empty said as he sat in his chair sipping tea. Okay. Lung Ruoxue nodded in agreement and got Ling to cast an invisibility spell on the three of them. Then the three of them left the Carefree Hall. With Empty leading the way, the three of them quickly arrived at the Alchemist Association. After entering the Alchemist Association, Lung Ruoxue gave it a simple tour and then summoned Quill to help her find someone. Quill immediately searched with its X-ray vision after receiving its master's order. It finally found its target moments later. Master, I found the little old man, Quill reported. Where? Bring us there quickly, Lung Ruoxue said hurriedly. However, she was a little puzzled. Why didn't Quill find Zheng? Could something have happened to Zheng? She couldn't help being a little worried. Master, there seems to be a barrier where the little old man is and locked him inside. However, he shouldn't have suffered too much damage inside. Quill told Lung Ruoxue the results it saw. Chapter 524, Going to the Rescue in Carefree City, 3, Is it a barrier? It's okay. Let's go. Lung Ruoxue said confidently. There shouldn't be a problem with the enchantment. Yes, master. Come with me. Quill said softly and flew in front to lead the way. After turning left and right, Lung Ruoxue and the others arrived at a relatively remote corner of the Alchemist Association. There was only one room there. Moreover, the house looked very old from the outside. The walls were covered in mottled marks, and there were 2 guards guarding the door. Empty, can you break this barrier and not let the owner of the barrier know? Lung Ruoxue asked softly after walking to the door. Yes. Empty snorted. It was not difficult for him even though this barrier was set up by the mystic supremacy. Then I'll leave it to you, Lung Ruoxue said. It would be much easier for them to save people if they didn't let the owner of the barrier discover them. Schwer is actually being polite with me, Empty said, a little unaccustomed. Yes, you're the main force now. The main labor force. Lung Ruoxue added with a chuckle in her heart. It's good that you know. Empty was quite smug upon hearing Lung Ruoxue mentioning that. Schwer finally realized how important he was, right? Stop thinking so much. Hurry up and do it. Lung Ruoxue couldn't help urging him seeing that he was still being so smug. Yes, Mississippi. Empty mimicked Feng Da and the others. He directly cast a few spells and then the barrier blocking Lung Ruoxue and the others was broken. Lung Ruoxue and the others quietly slipped into the room without any obstruction. After entering the room, Lung Ruoxue and the others saw the little old man trapped in the room. He was sitting in front of the table with a worried frown, thinking about something. Grandpa Du. Lung Ruoxue called out softly. Who is it? Is it Schwer? The little old man asked excitedly when he heard a familiar voice. However, he didn't find anyone after looking around. Alas. Could it be that he was locked up silly and had an illusion? That girl shouldn't have found this place so quickly. Grandpa Du. Lung Ruoxue called out again. The Grandpa Du's expression was so interesting. Schwer, where are you? The little old man said in surprise. It was Schwer's voice, right? He really heard it this time. Grandpa Du, I'm right in front of you. I'm invisible. You can't see me, Lung Ruoxue explained. Lass, is it really you? The little old man said happily. He didn't expect Schwer to find him so quickly. It was great. Yes, Grandpa do him here to save you. Where is Zheng En? Lung Ruoxue asked in puzzlement. Why weren't they locked up together? Alas, Zheng En was locked up in the cell of the Sun family by that bastard Sun Wei. I really don't know why he hates Zheng En so much. My poor disciple will probably die since he fell into his hands. The little old man said worriedly. Alas, it was all his fault for being useless. He couldn't even save his disciple, but he was actually locked up and had to be saved by the lass. To think he was a mystic supremacy. How embarrassing. Locked Sunzhou City? Lung Ruoxue asked in surprise. No, it should be the Sun family's yard in Carefree City. By the way, Lan Ninger has also come to Carefree City, the little old man said. Why is she here? I thought she didn't have the face to walk around. Lung Ruoxue said in surprise. Last time, Lan Ninger's clothes were burned down by Big Sister Linger and she dragged her around Blue Cloud City. At that time, Lung Ruoxue thought that Lan Ninger would be too ashamed to face anyone anymore. She didn't expect her to come to Carefree City. She heard that I'm here, so she specially came to find me to be her disciple. She's coming to convince me almost every day now, but I can't be bothered with her. The little old man said disdainfully. With his impression of Lan Ninger in Blue Cloud City, it would be impossible for him to take her in even if he didn't take in disciples. Oh, is she still counting on you as her master so that she can improve her status? Lung Ruoxue said understandingly. Lan Ninger's status in the Lan family had probably fallen drastically after the previous incident. It was no wonder she was in a hurry to find a backer. The little old man would really be a good choice if he wasn't locked up here. She had to say that Lan Ninger had good taste. However, could Lan Ninger have a way to get the little old man out? Yes, and she said that if I accepted her as my disciple, she would get Sun Wei to let me go. The little old man pouted and said nonchalantly. Could it be that the two of them have reached some kind of agreement? A cold light flashed quickly in Lung Ruoxue's beautiful eyes, shooting out sharp killing intent. She was right. Yes, it should be. The little old man nodded slightly in agreement. Master, I'm here. Speak of the devil. Just as Lung Ruoxue was chatting with the little old man, Lan Ninger's voice sounded from outside the room. Immediately after, Lan Ninger pushed open the door and walked in directly. After Lan Ninger entered the room, she came directly to the little old man, bowed respectfully, and said with a smile, Master, how are you today? Disciple came to see you again. Don't call me master. I, an old beggar, can't afford to take in the daughter of the Lan family. The little old man turned his head to the side. He didn't want to see Lan Ninger at all. Master is still angry with Disciple. At that time, Disciple didn't know Master's identity. In fact, I'm quite respectful to you, Master, Lan Ninger explained, a rare trace of shyness appearing on her beautiful face. I don't care. What's there to be angry about? The little old man said coldly. At the same time, he was annoyed. He couldn't understand why this Lan Ninger was so thick-skinned. Didn't she know what rejection was? Master, don't be angry with your disciple anymore since you don't care, Lan Ninger said casually and pretended to be very obedient in an attempt to attract the little old man's favor. I don't care about you. Of course I won't be angry with you, the little old man said bluntly. Master, I saved you. Otherwise, do you think you can stay here safely? Do you know how miserable that Zheng En is? Sun Wei beat him up every day to vent his hatred. Alas, I believe that Zheng En will die in a few days, Lan Ninger gloated. The words "I'm your savior" were clearly written on her beautiful face. Chapter 525. Going to the rescue in Carefree City? 4. Is that so? I believe my disciple is lucky. He will be fine, the little old man said very confidently. The girl was already here, so how could Zheng En be in trouble? In fact, he didn't know why he believed in Lung Ruoxue's ability so much. Perhaps she had that kind of charm. Are you sure? What if I tell you that Zheng En is about to die? Lan Ninger raised her eyebrows slightly and smiled mysteriously. Then as long as I go out, I'll get all of you to die with him, the little old man said domineeringly with his aura released. Ah! Lan Ninger couldn't bear the little old man's might. A mouthful of blood surged up her throat and flowed out the corner of her mouth. How useless! You call yourself a member of the Lan family? You're really embarrassing the Lan family, the little old man said with some contempt. He had been good friends with the Lan family's old ancestor for many years. He originally wanted to take Lan Ninger as his disciple on account of his old friend when he heard that the Lan family had an alchemy genius. However, he didn't expect Lan Ninger to disappoint him to the core. "I'll come again," Lan Ninger said stubbornly as she wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth. Ever since what happened last time, the way the Lan family looked at her had changed. Her grandfather no longer treated her like before. She suddenly became a lowly member of the Lan family, despised by everyone. How could she, who had been pampered and proud since she was young, bear with this? Later on, she unintentionally learned that His Excellency Du Min was in Carefree City, so she secretly left her home and came here, hoping to take him as her master to reverse her status in the family. However, she didn't expect that the person she wanted to take as her master was actually the old beggar she had scolded. She was a little dumbfounded at that time, and that old man was very vengeful. He refused to take her in as his disciple no matter how hard she tried. She was really angry. "Don't come anymore. I won't take you in as my disciple," the little old man said lightly before Lan Ninger left. Upon hearing this, Lan Ninger turned her head, glared fiercely at the little old man, and left with a face full of anger. "Lass, did you hear what she said? Zheng En's condition isn't good. Go and save him first. He'll be fine for the time being," the little old man said worriedly after Lan Ninger left. Alas! Zheng En was his proudest disciple. He would definitely not forgive himself if anything happened. "Lass, are you still here?" The little old man couldn't help asking again, seeing that no one answered. "I'm here," Lung Ruoxue said. She hadn't said anything since Lan Ninger came just now, but she had been here all along. Moreover, she had already let baby read Lan Ninger's heart and found Zheng En's whereabouts. She was listening to baby's report just now. "Lass, what are you doing? Weren't you there just now?" The little old man asked doubtfully. "I was thinking about something just now. Grandpa do, I'm going to save Zheng En now. Please stay here for a while. I'll save you later," Lung Ruoxue said. If she saved the little old man now, she would be alerted if she was discovered. "Okay, quickly save my good disciple. It'll be fine. They won't dare to kill me," the little old man hurriedly urged. "Okay, Grandpa do, we're leaving," Lung Ruoxue said. "Okay." The little old man nodded vigorously, but he couldn't help thinking in his heart. Could there be others here just now? After speaking, Lung Ruoxue left with the freak and empty. After leaving the Alchemist Association, Lung Ruoxue and the others found the Sun family's yard according to the address baby mentioned. The Sun family's yard was located in the north of Carefree City. It was not as big as the Lan family's yard, but it was considered one of the best in Carefree City. Lung Ruoxue smiled evilly as she looked at the tall and mighty walls of the Sun family's yard while standing outside the Sun family's yard. She took out several black spherical objects from her ring and buried them under the wall. "Schwer, what is this?" Empty asked curiously. He didn't seem to have seen this thing before. "This is a new weapon I refined, called Explosive Ball," Lung Ruoxue said with a light smile. Actually, this was just a bomb. She created it according to her memories of her previous life and had never had the chance to use it. She didn't expect it to come in handy today. "Explosive ball? It can explode?" Empty said in surprise. He didn't expect such a thing to exist. Schwer was really amazing. "Give me a few. I'll play with them too." Empty stretched out his hand and requested. "For you." Lung Ruoxue gave the freak, Empty, and her beasts a few each. Then she ordered them to bury the exploding ball in a corner of the Sun family's yard. After doing all this, Lung Ruoxue ordered Quill to find the location of the cell. Then she found the cell according to Quill's location. Perhaps Sun Wei believed too much in the defense of the Sun family's yard, but there was actually no one guarding the huge cell. Lung Ruoxue, the others, and the beasts sneaked in smoothly. A pungent moldy smell surged into his nose as soon as he entered the cell. The cell was so dark that he couldn't see his fingers in front of him. Moreover, he could vaguely hear the sound of water flowing. Lung Ruoxue and the others searched each cell under the dim light and finally found Jing En covered in blood and injuries in the innermost water prison. Seeing Zheng En unconscious and on the verge of death, a strong killing intent surged into Lung Ruoxue's heart. Those who dared to touch her had to pay the price. She would definitely not let Sun Wei off lightly. Sensing the fluctuation in Schwer's emotions, the freak hurriedly took out a dagger that could slice iron like mud, cut the chains of the water prison, and rushed in first to save Jing En, who was tied to the wall. "Schwer, quickly put him into the space and let's leave this place," the freak reminded. "Okay." Lung Ruoxue took out a pill and stuffed it into the unconscious Jing En's mouth. Then, with a thought, she stored Jing En in the bracelet and quickly left the cell. After leaving the cell, Lung Ruoxue and the others arrived at the main yard. They heard abnormal groans and panting coming from the main house as soon as they entered. There were also the excited howls of men and the low sobbing of women. They came to the window curiously and looked in casually, only to find that the two main leads were people they knew, Sun Wei and Lan Ning'e. Chapter 526, Going to the Rescue in Carefree City? 5. Doesn't Lan Ning'e like Lung Wudi? Why is she together with Sun Wei? Lung Ruoxue said in puzzlement. Was she giving up? No wonder she was so confident that Sun Wei would agree to let the little old man go. So that was the reason. How can Lung Wudi like her? It's not like he doesn't have eyes, the freak said disdainfully. Let me give them a big gift. Lung Ruoxue said very understandingly. With that, she gently pushed open the window and threw a small pill into the crack. Then she thoughtfully closed the window for them to prevent their spring sunshine from leaking out. "Schwer, what did you throw in?" Empty asked in puzzlement. Why did Schwer have so many things that he didn't recognize? You're still young. You're not suitable for children. You'll know when you grow up, Lung Ruoxue said with a naughty smile. "Schwer, I'm not young anymore. I'm much older than you," Empty said with a black face. Could it be that? Empty guessed. You're young if I say you're young. Don't talk back. Lung Ruoxue said domineeringly. Then she pulled them away from this place. Of course, she didn't forget to throw a few explosive balls into the corner of the main yard before leaving. After Lung Ruoxue and the others left the Sun family's yard, they went to the Alchemist Association to save the little old man. Immediately after, they returned to the Carefree Pavilion without anyone noticing. After returning to the Carefree Pavilion, Lung Ruoxue directly entered the room and moved Jing En out of the bracelet. At this moment, Jing En had already woken up. Moreover, most of the injuries on his body had healed. However, the medicinal effects of the pills couldn't heal all his injuries at once because his injuries were too serious. In the room, after Jing En woke up, he was stunned to see the stunning beauty in front of him. Then he asked carefully, "You are?" "Zheng En is so injured that he doesn't even recognize me?" Lung Ruoxue teased. The little old man recognized her at a glance just now. "You're Miss?" Zheng En said doubtfully. He knew that his miss had taken an appearance-changing pill, but he couldn't believe that this stunning beauty in front of him was his Mississippi. However, her voice was identical to his miss, and her temperament was very similar. "Nonsense. Who would save you if not me?" Lung Ruoxue pretended to be displeased. Alas, Zheng En actually didn't dare to acknowledge her. "Miss, I thought I wouldn't be able to see you anymore." Zheng En's eyes welled up with tears of excitement when he saw that the stunning beauty in front of him was really his Mississippi. "What are you saying? You're mine. No one can take your life without my permission," Lung Ruoxue said loudly in anger. "I know, that's why I've been holding my last breath. I knew that Miss would definitely come to save me," Zheng En said happily. Boo! He had finally waited for this day. "Yes, it's good that you know." Lung Ruoxue was very satisfied with Zheng En's idea and praised him. "Miss, I don't know how my master is doing. Help me find his whereabouts." Zheng En pleaded. In his heart, his miss was omnipotent. Stinky brat, I've been standing in front of you for a long time. You only have your young miss in your eyes. I, this disheveled old man, have been completely ignored. The little old man said uncomfortably. Alright. He admitted that he was jealous. However, his disciple's concern for him still benefited him a lot. Master, it's good that you're okay. Zheng En said happily when he saw the little old man. Alas. Fortunately, Master was safe and sound. Stinky brat, it was the girl who saved me, the little old man said honestly. The girl was their benefactor. Miss, thank you, Zheng En said gratefully, warmth flowing through his heart. Hee, it felt so good to have a family. What are you thanking me for? You're mine. Isn't it normal for me to save you? Lung Ruoxue didn't want her own people to be too polite with her. In her eyes, those who could be called her family were all family members that she approved of. Yes, Mississippi. Have you been well during this period of time? Zheng En nodded and then asked curiously. He had not been by Miss' side for a few months, and he didn't know what Miss had been doing recently. Fortunately, my brother and the others are out of seclusion. I'll introduce them to you when I have time, Lung Ruoxue said. Okay, I've been curious about them for a long time, Zheng En said. He had always only heard of the subordinates around his young miss and had never seen them. He finally had the chance to see them now. Take care of your injuries first, and then think about revenge. Don't let anyone who participated in hurting me go. A trace of killing intent flashed in Lung Ruoxue's beautiful eyes, and a fierce aura emitted from her body. Yes, Mississippi. I must take revenge with my own hands. Zheng En said with hatred. His bloodshot black eyes were cold and gloomy like a seductress from hell. The hatred in his heart released all his killing intent. Okay, I'll let you take revenge yourself. Lung Ruoxue nodded slightly in agreement. She would definitely fulfill Zheng En's wish since he had this idea. However, now that it involved the Sun family and the Mystic Association, this revenge would probably not be easy to take, so she had to plan carefully. Zheng En rest well. Well, go out first, Lung Ruoxue continued and left Ling in the room to protect Zheng En. Disciple, recuperate first and think about revenge. Master will go out first, the little old man said. With that, he left the room with Lung Ruoxue. The little old man followed Lung Ruoxue to the living room, where the others were already waiting for them. Little Snowy, you saved them all? So fast? Lan Ming couldn't help but exclaim. Alas, this girl was godlike in her work. She really left others in the dust. Little Lan Lan, how's the investigation going? Lung Ruoxue and the little old man each found a chair to sit down and asked. Almost. I went to the Mystic Association headquarters just now and found that it was very chaotic inside. Many elders were indeed locked up. However, my master's seclusion place is very safe now. The main reason is that Wu Gong can't enter, so master's life shouldn't be in danger for the time being. Lan Ming explained the situation he had found. Alas. He was relieved seeing that his master was fine now. Chapter 527, Refining the Silver Snow Pill, Advancement, 1. I originally wanted to visit the Alchemist Association, but am not very familiar with that place, so I didn't go. However, I think the situation of the Alchemist Association should be similar to the Mystic Association. Lan Ming continued. Las, Bratlan is right. This is indeed the current situation of the Alchemist Association. My muddle-headed disciple Rin Li and some elders of the association are locked up. The person in charge of the association headquarters now is Sun Wei and the elders who support him, the little old man said. Where are they locked up? Why aren't you locked up together? Lung Ruoxue said in puzzlement. Alas. This Sun Wei even locked up his master. He was really something. Whoever took him in as a disciple was really unlucky for 8 lifetimes. No. Because Lan Ninger wants to be my disciple, Sun Wei locked me up alone in order to please her. The others should be locked up in his cell, the little old man said after some thought. I didn't expect the Alchemist Association to have a cell too. Lung Ruoxue said in surprise. She really couldn't understand why the association would set up a cell. Lass, why can't the Alchemist Association have a prison? Alchemists from the association can also be punished if they do something wrong, the little old man said. Oh, in that case, let the president and elders of the headquarters stay in there for a few more days. Lung Ruoxue said with a light smile. Those people had nothing to do with her, so their lives were not in her consideration. Yes, let them stay inside for the time being. Anyway, Sunway won't kill them for a while, the little old man agreed. Alas, those people were so stubborn. They refused to let him cancel the punishment order he gave Jing En back then no matter what. Great, they listened to Sunway back then, but in the end, they were still locked up by Sunway. They were really asking for trouble. He didn't pity them at all even though his disciples were among them. Grandpa Du, what happened? Lung Ruoxue asked curiously. Lass, it's a long story. It's embarrassing even if I were the one telling you. The little old man sighed softly and said helplessly. Grandpa Du, you have to let me know even if it's embarrassing. Lung Ruoxue said. She had heard Ning Yuan mention some things, but Ning Yuan was only an ordinary mystic after all. It was impossible for him to know too much about these things that happened in the upper echelons. Lass, after I brought Jing En back, I thought that the matter could be easily resolved with me stepping in. However, who knew that those stubborn old fellows from the headquarters actually disagreed? They even said that the matter back then was irrefutable evidence. Moreover, they said that I couldn't produce evidence that Sun Wei framed Jing En and was unable to prove Jing En's innocence. Some people even said that I sided with Jing En and deliberately wronged Sun Wei because Jing En was my disciple. It's really infuriating. He was so angry that he wanted to beat someone up whenever he thought of the situation back then. Grandpa Du, looks like the Alchemist Association isn't very humane. I guess they didn't take your words seriously because they saw that you were no longer in the association. This is what they mean by tea cools when people leave. Lung Ruoxue said with some emotion. Alas, it seemed that she had expected it wrong back then. She originally thought that the little old man had an extraordinary status in the Alchemist Association, and that no one would dare to oppose his opinion. Who knew that those people actually dared to rebel? Lass, you're right. They've been blinded by power. Alas. The little old man sighed repeatedly. He was still respected by countless people in other places, but he actually received a cold treatment in his territory. This really made his heart turn cold. Grandpa Du, shouldn't Sun Wei be grateful to them since they didn't believe you? Why did he lock them up? Lung Ruoxue asked in puzzlement. That Sun Wei is simply an ingrate. After using them, he seized their power simply because they didn't agree to him inheriting the position of the president of the headquarters, the little old man said gloatingly. Isn't the president of the association headquarters Renli? Could it be that Renli wants to give the position of president to Sun Wei? Lung Ruoxue said doubtfully. There was really extraordinary chaos among the upper echelons of the Alchemist Association. It was originally Renli. However, because of my matter, Renli felt that he had let me down, so he took the initiative to resign from his position as the president. He ordered the Elder Association to choose a new president. However, the opinions of the Elder Association had always been inconsistent, and many people didn't approve of Sun Wei being the president of the headquarters, so Sun Wei borrowed the power of the Sun family and the Mystic Association to lock up all the people who opposed him. However, Sun Wei won't kill them for the time being. He still needs to borrow their power to consolidate his status, so those old muddled bugs are still safe now, the little old man said angrily. Oh, I see. Lung Ruoxue understood. Little Snowy, Sun Weisbacher should be Sun Malin's mother. Wu Gong's involvement was all because of her. Moreover, I saw her at the Mystic Association headquarters, Lan Ming said evasively. Isn't it normal to see her? Little Lan, could it be that you saw something you shouldn't have seen? Lung Ruoxue asked in realization. Was little Lan considered shy? What was wrong with that? It seemed like the relationship between the adulterous pair was no secret. She just didn't know if the person from the Sun family knew. 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down Lan Ming's forehead. Was he really overreacting? Little Lon Lon, do you know the background of that madam's son? Lung Ruoxue asked after some thought. I know a little. I heard that woman was originally the concubine of the deputy patriarch of the Sun family, Sun Sheng. Later on, she used some unknown means to obtain Sun Sheng's favor and jumped to become Sun Sheng's wife. She also gave birth to a son and a daughter for Sun Sheng, so her status in the Sun family has always been very stable. She even has the momentum to suppress Sun Sheng's wife, Lan Ming said to Lung Ruoxue with the information he knew. Is that woman very beautiful? Lung Ruoxue asked curiously. She was indeed a capable woman. To be honest, she really wanted to meet this Mrs. Sun. Not too bad. Lan Ming said after some thought. What do you mean by not too bad? Is she beautiful or not? Lung Ruoxue said impatiently. Chapter 528. Refining the Silver Snow Pill Advancement 2. Not as beautiful as Sun Meilin, Lan Ming said helplessly. Ooh, little Snowy was so fierce. Then how did she get the favor of that sun whatever? Lung Ruoxue was puzzled. A man's taste was really strange. I don't know. Lan Ming shrugged. How could an outsider like him know so much about what happened between husband and wife? Then what about her and Wu Gong? Why does Wu Gong listen to a married woman? Lung Ruoxue couldn't understand. How could a married woman be so charming? She could actually make the vice president of the Mystic Association obey her. This was too unbelievable. There are rumors that she's Wu Gong's lover, but no one knows if it's true or not, Blue said after some thought. Oh. Lung Ruoxue nodded. She didn't expect Wu Gong to be so sentimental. By the way, Grandpa Du, you are a mystic supremacy. How did you get locked up by Sun Wei and the others? Lung Ruoxue asked hurriedly as she suddenly thought of this. Lass, I forgot to tell you that Wu Gong is already a mystic supremacy. Moreover, he has many mystic sovereigns by his side, and there are many from the Sun family. Alas, I was alone, so I was captured, the little old man said very gloomily. Alas. He had never been schemed against so cowardly in all his years of life. Wu Gong is also a mystic supremacy? Lan Ming was surprised. No wonder he felt Wu Gong's aura become stronger when he saw him just now. He didn't expect him to be a mystic supremacy. Yes, I didn't expect it either. Otherwise, I wouldn't have suffered so much. Thinking of this, the little old man was really depressed. Does Madame Sun have a mystic supremacy by her side? Lung Ruoxue asked. No, her people are all mystic sovereigns, the little old man said with certainty. They only have one mystic supremacy, right? Lung Ruoxue looked at the little old man to confirm. Yes, there should only be one mystic supremacy, Wu Gong. However, if the Sun family sends a mystic supremacy, there will be more than one, the little old man said worriedly. Alas. Wu Gong was not worried. He was afraid of the Sun family's ambition. The Sun family won't casually send a mystic supremacy, Empty, who had been sitting in the chair without saying anything, said with certainty. Are you sure? Lung Ruoxue didn't know why she was so confident, but she would still believe what Empty said. Of course, power and status are not the most important to mystic supremacies. Their greatest wish is to break through. So mystic supremacies won't fight easily unless it's urgent. Empty was experienced, so he knew what was most important to mystic supremacies. Very few mystic supremacies would fight to the death for fame and benefits. What level is mystic supremacy after breaking through? Lung Ruoxue couldn't help asking. Empty should know, right? I can't tell you now. These are too far away from you. You should break through to Mystic Monarch first. Empty smiled and deliberately kept him in suspense. Fine, you'll know sooner or later anyway, Lung Ruoxue said nonchalantly. Cheng Wu, what did you find out? Lung Ruoxue turned her gaze to Cheng Wu and asked. Miss, I found out about the same situation as President Lan. Cheng Wu hurriedly replied when he heard Lung Ruoxue's question. Oh. Lung Ruoxue acknowledged softly. Suddenly, A loud bang sounded in everyone's ears. "What's the matter?" Lan Ming and the others hurriedly stood up from their chairs and rushed out of the door curiously. Only Lung Ruoxue, the freak, Empty, and the little old man sat calmly in their chairs, drinking tea and eating snacks, not taking the commotion just now seriously at all. After a long while, Lan Ming and the others, who had gone out to watch the commotion, returned. The expressions on their faces were very strange. "Little Snowy, why didn't any of you ask us what happened outside?" Lan Ming asked curiously after sitting down. Wasn't Little Snowy and the others' reactions a little too calm? "It has nothing to do with me. Why should I ask it?" Lung Ruoxue said nonchalantly. Actually, she knew without asking. Well, it was about time to explode. "Aren't you curious too?" Lan Ming asked the other three, his handsome face full of question marks. "What's there to be curious about?" the freak said lightly. "That's right. Little Lan, you still have to train. How can you be so shocked and angry?" Empty said like an elder. Lan Ming's forehead was full of black lines. So he was too unperturbed. From the direction of the sound, it seems to be the Sun family's yard. The little old man saw that Lan Ming was too pitiful and cooperated. Could this be caused by Shuer and the others? Yes, a serious explosion happened in the Sun family's yard. Moreover, Sun Wei and Lan Ninger were still fooling around in public. Alas, the Lan family's face has been thrown away by Lan Ninger this time. Lan Ming sighed, his handsome face full of disdain. "Did the Sun family suffer any casualties?" Lung Ruoxue asked. "There are many injured, but they shouldn't have died," Lan Ming replied. "Oh." Lung Ruoxue was dissatisfied. It seemed that the power of the exploding ball was still a little weak. It actually didn't die. Alas. It was really too disappointing. It seemed like she had to increase the dosage. "Little Snowy, the Sun family didn't die. You seem to be very displeased," Lan Ming said doubtfully. Little Snowy's reaction was really too strange. Could the Sun family's explosion be related to her? He guessed in his heart. "Of course I'm displeased. Wouldn't it save us a lot of trouble if more people from the Sun family die? You don't even understand this." Lung Ruoxue looked at Lan Ming with slight contempt. Lan Ming was speechless. Boo! Why was a pure child like him always despised by Little Snow? "All right, everyone should rest early today." Lung Ruoxue looked at the time. After speaking, Lung Ruoxue returned to her room with the freak, and nature followed her in. "Why did you come in? It won't be clear if others see you." In the room, the freak glared at Empty and said with slight dissatisfaction. Chapter 529, Refining the Silver Snow Pill, Advancement, 3. "I want to enter the space," Empty said with 2 drops of cold sweat hanging on his forehead. "Freak, let's go in too." Lung Ruoxue suppressed her smile. "Yes," the freak answered with a nod. With a thought, the freak and Empty were brought into the bracelet. "Empty, the freak and I are going to cultivate," Lung Ruoxue said to Wayless after entering the bracelet. Shuer, didn't you think of taking pills to advance to Mystic Monarch?" Empty asked in puzzlement. "Pill?" Lung Ruoxue's beautiful face was full of confusion. For a moment, she really couldn't think of any pill that could advance directly to Mystic Monarch. Moreover, her situation was different from others. "Silver Snow Pill. Don't tell me you forgot?" Empty said in disbelief. In fact, he had wanted to ask Shuer and the freak when they had just advanced to Great Mystic. However, there were too many things at that time, so he had never found a suitable opportunity. Those silver snowfish? Lung Ruoxue suddenly remembered the fish she had stolen from the Lan family's yard. She would have really forgotten if she hadn't reminded him. In fact, she couldn't be blamed. There have been too many things happening recently. "Seems like you really forgot," Empty said helplessly. "Yes, I did forget," Lung Ruoxue admitted shyly. The main ingredient for the silver snow pill was fish. Fish were food in her heart. Who would always think about food for no reason? "Shuer, If you advance to Mystic Monarch, I think you will have no problem skipping levels to challenge Mystic Sovereigns. Empty guess. Alas. These two perverts could defeat Mystic Monarchs at higher levels when they were great mystics. If they advanced to Mystic Monarch, the unlucky ones would be Mystic Sovereigns. Ordinary Mystic Sovereigns will definitely be fine, but I don't know about those like Cheng Wu, Lung Ruoxue said. With that, the three of them walked to the side of the pool where the silver snow fish were kept. Lung Ruoxue was surprised as she looked at the silver snow fish swimming happily in the pool. This didn't seem to have been long. The silver snow fish in the pool was actually twice the size of when she saw them in the Lawn family. Moreover, they were lively. In addition, there were many small fish in the pool. Schwer, looks like these fish live well in the space. Seeing these fish, Empty's craving was aroused. He hadn't seen these fish for a long time because he was afraid that he would not be able to help eating them after seeing them. Okay. Lung Ruoxue nodded and fished out 2 immature small fish from the pool and stored them in the ring for refining pills. Then she fished out a big fish nearly a meter long and prepared to taste its deliciousness. Little Snowy is finally willing to eat these fish. Icy, which was sleeping in the bracelet, immediately ran over when it heard the commotion. Lung Ruoxue's beasts came with it. Lung Ruoxue looked helplessly at the expectant Icy and the beasts, and had to fish out several more fish from the pool. Alas, the beasts had a big appetite, and she didn't know if these were enough. Charm, go get Big Brother and the others, Lung Ruoxue ordered. Her brother and the others were cultivating in their rooms. Yes, master. Charm disappeared in a flash of white light after receiving Lung Ruoxue's order. After a while, Lung Ruhan and the others came to the side of the pool. Feng De hurriedly ordered Lin Yuan and the others to clean up when he saw the silver snow fish hopping by the pool. Schwer, your subordinates are not bad. Empty praised Feng De and the others, who were cleaning up the fish. Of course. Look whose subordinate it is, Lung Ruoxue said proudly. Schwer, you've also learned to be vain. Empty said with a light smile. I'm not being vain. This is the truth. Lung Ruoxue quibbled. How could she be vain? Miss, everything is packed. Feng De walked to Lung Ruoxue's side and reported. Okay, Feng De, leave a few raw fish slices and grill the rest. Lung Ruoxue said after some thought. She had trained Feng De and the others' culinary skills, so she didn't have to do it herself with them around. He's so good. Yes, miss, Feng De answered with a smile. He thought so too. Little Snowy, what are raw fish slices? Are they raw? Icy asked curiously. Ooh, it didn't like raw food. Yes. Lung Ruoxue nodded. Little Snowy, can we not eat it? How can raw food be as delicious as cooked food? Icy's blue eyes welled up with tears as it said pitifully. Little Icy, raw fish slices are different from the raw fish you think. You'll know in a while. Lung Ruoxue said with slight mystery. She seemed to have not eaten raw fish slices since she came to the Boundless Heaven continent. The main reason was that her elder brother and the others were not around, and they were too few, so there was no point in eating. Oh, Icy answered doubtfully. Little Snowy's food was delicious, but it still had reservations about the raw fish that Little Snowy mentioned. After a while, the fragrance of the grilled fish entered the noses of everyone and the beasts. The alluring smell seduced their appetite. Lung Ruoxue and the others and the beasts found a seat obediently, and the beasts that knew how to cook took the initiative to help grill the fish. After a while, the sashimi was first served on the table Lung Ruoxue had set. Then the grilled fish was also served, filling the entire table. Little Icy, come, try the raw fish slices first. Lung Ruoxue picked up a thin fish slice with her chopsticks, dipped it in the sauce, and brought it to Icy's mouth. All right, Icy opened its mouth reluctantly and ate the thin fish slice. Who knew that the fish slice actually melted in its mouth? However, the freshness of the fish and the spiciness of the sauce remained in its mouth for a long time. How is it? Lung Ruoxue looked at Icy's slightly dull little face and asked with a smile. How can this be? Empty asked in surprise after eating a slice of raw fish curiously. The taste was really unbelievable, completely different from what he imagined. Chapter 530, Refining the Silver Snow Pill, Advancement, 4. Haha, it's delicious, isn't it? Feng De said with a big smile. His first reaction was similar to Empty's. Yes, the cool taste is sweet and delicious. I didn't expect it to taste so good raw, Empty praised and then began to eat heartily. Little Snowy, give me another piece. That melted in my mouth just now. Icy also reacted after a while. Okay. Lung Ruoxue sent another piece to Icy. Icy smacked its lips after eating, its face full of reminiscence. Ha! Lung Ruoxue couldn't help laughing when she saw the expression on Icy's little face. Little Snowy, how can this sashimi be so delicious? It tastes completely different from the raw meat I've eaten before. Icy said with a face full of surprise. Of course it's different. The silver snow fish itself likes the cold, so the meat is more delicious and more suitable to be eaten raw. However, the meat you've eaten in the past is different. No one will be willing to eat raw if they can be cooked. Lung Ruoxue said with a smile. Yes, that's right. I didn't know how to eat cooked food at all when I was alone in the past. I only knew after following Master. Icy sighed. Alas, how could beasts receive such good treatment unless they followed a good master? Hee, my cute master is the best master in the world. Darling jumped into Lung Ruoxue's arms and acted coquettishly. Of course, it didn't forget to rub against its cute master's arms. Yes, my master is also very good, Icy said. However, it was the only beast master, so it was not as lively as Little Snowy. At this moment, Lung Ruoxue seemed to have suddenly thought of something. She stood up, took some food from the table and put it in her storage ring. Schwer, where are you going? The freak couldn't help asking when he saw Schwer's actions. I'll send some to Zhengyan and Grandpa Du, Lung Ruoxue said, almost forgetting about them. I'll go with you, the freak said as he stood up. No need. The first. I'll be back soon. Lung Ruoxue flashed out after speaking. Lung Ruoxue returned quickly. Freak, didn't I tell you to eat first? Lung Ruoxue said helplessly as she looked at the freak staring at her. I can't eat without you. The freak's obsidian eyes glittered as he looked at Lung Ruoxue aggrievedly. Be good, I'll feed you, Lung Ruoxue quickly coaxed. Alas, the freak was like a child sometimes, always acting coquettishly. That's more like it. The freak was satisfied, and his incomparably handsome face revealed a drop-dead gorgeous smile. Lung Ruoxue picked up a piece of grilled fish and brought it to the freak's mouth to coax him to eat it. After eating, the freak's mood became better, and the smile on his face increased. The beasts looked at the smug freak with contempt, and they couldn't help but grumble in their hearts. Umph. They were already so old, but they still liked to act coquettishly and look down on him. At this moment, they had long forgotten that they were the same. They were not much better than the freak. After eating the sumptuous silver snow fish dinner, Feng De, the others, and the beasts took the initiative to pack up. Lung Ruoxue entered the alchemy room of the purple bamboo hut with the freak to prepare to concoct the silver snow pill. After entering the alchemy room, Lung Ruoxue found the formula for the silver snow pill from the pill formula her master left her and read it carefully. The silver snow pill was a heaven-grade pill. Apart from the main ingredient being the silver snowfish, it also needed silver bellgrass, 5-flavor flower, and a few other additions. These herbs happened to be in her hands. After taking out the herbs she needed, Lung Ruoxue took out the pill furnace and prepared to officially concoct the silver snow pill. After lighting the pill furnace and preheating it, Lung Ruoxue first put in a few herbs in order. After the medicinal liquid melted, she put the main ingredient, the silver snow fish, into the furnace. Soon, the high temperature of the pill furnace melted the silver snow fish and mixed it with the medicinal liquid. Then it was purification. After purification, the ball-sized ball of medicinal liquid became the size of a baby's fist. Finally, it was the most critical pill condensation. Lung Ruoxue waved her hands and cast the spell to condense the pill. Then she sat quietly in front of the pill furnace and waited. A moment later, the pill furnace emitted the unique fragrance of the pill. She knew that the pill was completed. It was said that the success rate of the silver snow pill was very low, but she succeeded in one try. This made her very happy. She impatiently opened the pill furnace and saw more than a dozen crystal-like pills lying in the middle of the pill furnace. The pills were transparent and emitted the fresh fragrance unique to the silver snow fish. Lung Ruoxue was stunned. This was the first time she had seen a pill with the smell of fish. Hee, the world was really big and there were all sorts of things. Lung Ruoxue took out the jade bottle she had long prepared and stored the pills in the furnace. Then she stood up and said to the freak guarding at the side, "Freak, let's go out." "Okay." The freak was also very happy to see Schwer refine the silver snow pill. Hee, this should be Schwer's second time refining a heaven-grade pill. It seemed that Schwer's alchemist level was unquestionable as an alchemist respected master. The two of them left the alchemy room and exited the purple bamboo hut directly. They saw Empty sitting on a stone chair not far from the purple bamboo hut drinking tea, looking at them with a smile in his pitch-black and bright eyes. "Did you succeed?" Empty asked. "Okay." Lung Ruoxue nodded and pulled the freak to sit opposite Empty. "Why haven't you gone to rest yet?" Lung Ruoxue asked curiously. "I can't sleep. At my level, sleeping isn't the main thing apart from cultivation," Empty explained. In fact, he often sat alone until dawn. Sleep had no real meaning to him. "I understand. You're old. Old people are all like this. They don't think much." Lung Ruoxue teased. "Ah." 2 drops of cold sweat dripped down Boundless' forehead, and he was a little helpless. "Ooh, did Schwer despise him?" "Schwer, you despise me," Empty complained. "No, I'm just telling the truth. Don't worry. You might not be young anymore, but your appearance will last forever," Lung Ruoxue said with slight envy after looking at him for a long time. Chapter 531, Refining the Silver Snow Pill, Advancement, 5. "Don't be afraid. You will be as young as me when you reach my age," Empty comforted. "I'm not afraid. It will take me a long time to reach your age," Lung Ruoxue said nonchalantly. However, she believed that the day she became an old lady, the freak wouldn't despise her because the freak would also become an old man. She couldn't help laughing secretly in her heart at this point. "Schwer, what are you thinking? Why are you smiling so cunningly?" Empty couldn't help asking curiously when he saw the expression on Lung Ruoxue's face. "Nothing. I just suddenly thought of the day when I will become old with the freak." Lung Ruoxue looked at the freak. "Schwer, we won't age." The freak's forehead was full of black lines as he said helplessly. Alas, he knew what Schwer was thinking from her expression. How could they become old? Their appearance would not change no matter how old they were. Yes. Lung Ruoxue nodded repeatedly. If the freak said he wouldn't age, then he wouldn't age. "Schwer, are you planning to go out and advance?" Empty asked curiously. "Yes, I wonder if I can advance to Mystic Monarch," Lung Ruoxue said gloomily. Her cultivation technique was mainly the heaven-defying skill. She could advance her mystic to the corresponding level only if the heaven-defying skill reached the requirements for advancement. However, her current heaven-defying skill obviously didn't reach the requirements to advance her to Mystic Monarch. "Go and try. Anyway, it's just a silver snow pill," Empty suggested. He also knew a little about Schwer's situation, but he felt that there shouldn't be any problem. "Yes, the freak and I will find a deserted place to try," Lung Ruoxue said. "You can go to the place I brought you last time. It's very remote, and almost no one will go there," Empty reminded them. That place was his private restricted area. No one dared to enter without his permission. "Okay." Lung Ruoxue and the freak exited the bracelet and got Ling to cast an invisibility spell on the two of them. They then left the Carefree Hall in invisibility and arrived at the back mountain of the Mystic Association headquarters that Empty brought them to last time with their memories. At the back mountain, Lung Ruoxue summoned the little peacock from the bracelet and sat on its back with the freak. The little peacock carried them down the mountain stream. At the bottom of the stream, Lung Ruoxue and the freak found a wide place and moved their beasts out of the bracelet. Then the two of them found a huge rock and sat cross-legged on it. Lung Ruoxue took out 2 silver snow pills and handed one to the freak. "Eat it." "Swear eat first." "I'll eat after you advance," the freak said. He wanted to advance with Swear. "Let's eat together." "It's okay if I can't advance." "You can protect me after you advance," Lung Ruoxue said. She didn't know if she could advance, but their strength would improve greatly if the freak could advance to Mystic Monarch first. "All right, let's eat together," the freak said helplessly. Boo. In fact, he could protect Swear even if he didn't advance to Mystic Monarch because... Okay. Lung Ruoxue nodded, and the two of them put the silver snow pill in their mouths. Not long after taking the silver snow pill, the heaven-earth laws for advancement descended. The freak advanced first, but Lung Ruoxue still didn't move. Lung Ruoxue's beasts stared at their master, afraid that their master would feel any discomfort. Alas, they knew their master's condition, so they were very nervous. After the freak advanced, he opened his pitch-black starry eyes. At this moment, his aura was even more restrained, and the aura on his body was sharp and terrifying like an unsheathed sword. The freak advanced to Mystic Monarch, adjusted his breathing slightly, and stared at Lung Ruoxue with the eyes of the beasts. At this moment, Lung Ruoxue's face revealed a painful expression. After taking the silver snow pill, the mystic energy in her body became violent, raging wantonly in her body like a hurricane. After the huge spiritual energy contained in the silver snow pill entered her body, it quickly fused with the violent mystic energy. At first, the two forces collided and fought for territory that belonged to them without giving in to each other. Later, the spiritual energy gradually lost and was absorbed by the mystic energy in Lung Ruoxue's body, converted to mystic energy to fill the insufficient mystic energy in her body. With the replenishment of the spiritual energy contained in the silver snow pill, Lung Ruoxue quickly felt the barrier to advance. With a spurt of energy, she mobilized the mystic energy in her body and launched a fierce attack on the barrier. With a crisp "pa" sound, she finally broke through to Great Mystic and officially advanced to Mystic Monarch. The monsters and beasts that had been guarding Lung Ruoxue finally relaxed after seeing the heaven-earth laws descend. Lung Ruoxue tried her best to absorb the benefits brought by the descent of the heaven-earth law before it dissipated. Then, she regulated her breathing a little before slowly opening her beautiful eyes. "Freak charm, what happened to you?" Lung Ruoxue looked at the man and the beasts surrounding her, feeling a little uneasy. Their expressions were so serious. "Swear, it's been hard on you," the freak said with heartache. Alas, he really wanted to bear the pain on her behalf when he saw Swear just now. However, he didn't dare to disturb Swear and could only watch helplessly. Boo! This feeling was really bad. "Master!" Charm and the other beasts also called out softly. Moreover, they looked at Lung Ruoxue with tears in their eyes. Don't be like this," Lung Ruoxue said hurriedly. She admitted that it hurt a little just now, but she really didn't want to see them so worried. Moreover, she was fine now. "Master, I'm going to advance." Charm suddenly shouted. Boo! It hadn't had the chance to care about Master yet. How could it advance so quickly? The heaven-earth laws that advanced one after another descended into the mountain stream just as Charm finished speaking. The beasts advanced one after another like a relay race, and their advancement also brought Lung Ruoxue great benefits. Master, I've advanced to a transcendent divine beast. Moreover, I'm a level 2 transcendent divine beast. Feng Zhan transformed into his human form and flew to Lung Ruoxue's shoulder to report. Chapter 532, Refining the Silver Snow Pill, Advancement, 6, Not Bad. Lung Ruoxue praised as she caressed Feng Zhan's feathers. Master, I'm also a transcendent divine beast now. Charm also jumped into Lung Ruoxue's arms and rubbed against her. Yes, not bad. Lung Ruoxue caressed Charm's soft fur with satisfaction. Charm had advanced to a level 1 transcendent divine beast after this advancement. Lung Ruoxue turned her gaze to the other beasts and was very satisfied after looking at them because all her beasts had advanced except Baby and Ball this time. Among them, Darling, Quill, Rise, and the other beasts had advanced to level 9 legendary beasts, while White Dawn had advanced to level 5 transcendent divine beasts. Although it had only advanced 1 level, it was still the strongest among all her beasts. Hey kitty, I'm a transcendent divine beast too. At this moment, Feng Zhan flew in front of White Dawn and deliberately provoked it. You damn bird. Even if you become a transcendent divine beast, your level isn't higher than mine. What's there to be smug about? White Dawn raised its eyes slightly and said with slight disdain, Master, I request to spar with this damn cat. Feng Zhan looked at Lung Ruoxue and said indignantly, Sparring? Alright, I approve. Lung Ruoxue said helplessly, Alas, why did Feng Zhan and White Dawn like to fight so much? I don't want to spar with you. Lung Ruoxue agreed, but Bai Su was displeased. Damn cat, are you afraid? Feng Zhan continued provoking it. It had to fight this stinky cat anyway because it wanted to know how big the difference between them was now. Tisich, you're only a level 2 transcendent divine beast. I'm level 5 now. Why would I be afraid of you? White Dawn said with a disdainful smile. Why don't you dare to spar with me since you're not afraid of me? Feng Zhan glared at him with his small red eyes and said with displeasure, It's not convenient for me these few days. White Dawn rolled his eyes at Feng Zhan and said lightly, It's inconvenient for you these few days? Ha! Do you think you're a female beast? And it's inconvenient for you for the next few days. It's really too funny. Feng Zhan laughed hysterically. He actually lay on the ground exaggeratedly and even covered his stomach with his little wings while laughing. Lung Ruoxue's forehead was full of black lines when she heard what White Dawn said. She couldn't help but grumble in her heart. Did White Dawn eat the wrong thing? Why was it so abnormal today? The beasts didn't laugh as exaggeratedly as Feng Zhan when they heard what White Dawn said, but they also turned their heads and covered their mouths to snicker. Can't it be inconvenient for me for a few days? White Dawn looked at Feng Zhan and the beasts with slight displeasure. Yes. Since it's inconvenient for the little kitty these few days, they'll spar with you when it's convenient for you. This king knows how to be protective of the fairer sex. Feng Zhan said with a smile. Get lost. White Dawn roared and jumped into Lung Ruoxue's arms, burying its head in her arms and only showing its little butt outside. Lung Ruoxue looked at the little snowball in her arms and was surprised. There was really something wrong with White Dawn. Why would it do such a thing in the past? What happened to it? Swear, let's leave this place. The freak also saw that something was amiss with White Dawn. Okay. Lung Ruoxue nodded, stored the beasts in the bracelet, and left with the little peacock on the freak. After returning to the room of the Carefree pavilion, Lung Ruoxue brought the freak directly into the bracelet. Empty was sitting on a stone chair in front of the purple bamboo house, waiting for them. Congratulations. Empty said after seeing their strength. Thank you. Have a good chat. They'll go see White Dawn. Lung Ruoxue felt that something was amiss with White Dawn and Wayless. She was really worried. She went straight to White Dawn's residence after speaking. What happened to White Dawn? Empty asked in puzzlement. Schwer had closed the connection between space and the outside world when she advanced just now, so he was not very clear about what happened in the mountain stream. I don't know. It said it's inconvenient for the next few days. The freak sat down beside Empty and said speechlessly. This was the first time he heard that male beasts also had inconvenient times. Could it be that their menopause had arrived? Empty spat out the mouthful of tea he was drinking after hearing the freak's words. Calm down. White Dawn said it himself. The freak hurriedly comforted. Schwer's beasts are very different. Empty came to an important conclusion. They're all good at acting. The freak said through gritted teeth. Sometimes he hated Schwer's beasts to the core, but sometimes he was very grateful to them because they liked to compete for favor with him and protect Schwer. Alas. So conflicted. Ha. Empty looked at the freak and couldn't help but laugh. In fact, he knew very well how depressed this man was. However, it couldn't be helped. Schwer's beasts like their master so much. What's so funny? The freak rolled his eyes at Empty and said gloomily. Ha. Empty laughed even louder. Lung Ruoxue came to the bamboo hut where Bai Su was staying with Empty's hearty laughter. She knocked on the door gently and pushed it open to enter. Bai Su was curled up in the corner of the bed like a ball in the room, looking pitiful. Lung Ruoxue's heart ached so much. Bai Su. Lung Ruoxue walked to the bed and hugged Bai Su, who had curled into a ball. Master. The transmogrified White Dawn looked up at Lung Ruoxue with watery green eyes, aggrieved. White Dawn, what's wrong with you? Lung Ruoxue asked in puzzlement. In her impression, White Dawn was not a beast that liked to cry. Why was it so weak today? Today is my birthday. I miss home, White Dawn said with a slight sob. Boo. It was too embarrassing. It had never thought about home after staying in the mystic realm for so long. However, after being with its master, it saw the warmth between its master and its family and actually missed home. Especially yesterday, it remembered its parents and its siblings who often fooled around with it. Be good, don't cry. You might not have a family by your side now, but you still have me, your master, and so many beast companions. Lung Ruoxue quickly coaxed. She felt quite uncomfortable seeing White Dawn like this. Fortunately, she had always been with her family. Otherwise, she would probably be as sad as White Dawn. Chapter 533. It's not convenient for me during these few days? 1. Yes. White Dawn nodded. Its master was right. It was not alone. It still had its most beloved master and so many beast companions. Then don't be secretly sad, understand? Lung Ruoxue ordered. Alas. She thought she cared about her beasts, but she didn't even realize Bai Zu's thoughts. She was such a failure. She wasn't a good master. Boo. Okay, White Dawn answered obediently. White Dawn, let's go out and celebrate your birthday together. Lung Ruoxue suggested. She didn't seem to have a birthday all along. It seemed like no one around her had a birthday. No need, master, White Dawn said shyly. It was too embarrassing to cry in front of its master. Why not? Master has decided. The people and beasts around me have to celebrate their birthdays in the future, Lung Ruoxue said resolutely. She left the bamboo hut with White Dawn in her arms after speaking. After exiting the bamboo hut, Lung Ruoxue carried White Dawn to the table where the freak and Empty were sitting. After placing White Dawn on the table, she called out softly, Qingju. Big sister. Qingju appeared in front of Lung Ruoxue and the others. Qingju, call everyone in the beasts out. I have something to announce. Lung Ruoxue ordered. Okay, Qingju answered and then disappeared. Soon, Lung Ruhen, the others, and the beasts emerged from their rooms. Schwer, why did you call us out? Lung Ruhen asked curiously after walking to Lung Ruoxue's side. I have 2 things to announce. Firstly, the freak and I have just advanced to Mystic Monarch. Of course, we took the Silver Snow Pill to advance directly, so you have to cultivate diligently and strive to become great mystic as soon as possible. You can take the Silver Snow Pill then. Lung Ruoxue announced with a smile. Wow, miss, is this true? This is great. Feng De couldn't help becoming excited as soon as Lung Ruoxue finished speaking. This was really good news. Of course it's true. When have I ever lied to you? Lung Ruoxue pretended to be displeased. Schwer, congratulations on advancing to Mystic Monarch, Lung Ruhan said happily. The stronger his sister was, the happier he would be as an elder brother. Big brother, you will also become Mystic Monarch soon, Lung Ruoxue reminded. Her elder brother and the others had very good aptitude. It was only a matter of time before they advanced to Great Mystic. Yes, I will work hard, Lung Ruhan said resolutely. Schwer was already a Mystic Monarch, so he couldn't lag behind his sister too much. In fact, He would have entered seclusion long ago if he didn't want to accompany Schwer more. Miss, what's the second matter? Fonda asked curiously. The second one. It has to do with all of you. I've decided that from now on, each of your birthdays will be celebrated for you. Lung Ruoxue continued to announce. Birthday? Everyone was stunned and looked at Lung Ruoxue in surprise. What's the matter? Lung Ruoxue asked in puzzlement when she saw their expressions. Miss, I don't celebrate my birthday. Fonda scratched his head and said helplessly. He was not a child. Why should he celebrate his birthday? Miss, I don't know my birthday. I'm an orphan. Lin Yuan said. He had never had a birthday since he was young because he didn't know when his birthday was at all. Moreover, no one had given him one. It's okay. It's CEB the same day as me if you don't know when yours is supposed to be, Lung Ruoxue said. These subordinates and beasts were her family, so she had to make them feel at home. What happened with White Dawn couldn't happen again. I want mine to be the same as Big Sister's, Qingju said happily. He was an artifact spirit and didn't have a birthday. Anyone who doesn't know when their birthday is can celebrate it with me, Lung Ruoxue repeated. Big Sister, I don't remember my birthday, Baby said aggrievedly. Boo. It couldn't remember when it was born, so it couldn't remember when its birthday was. Hee, Baby, you can have the same birthday as Big Sister. Lung Ruoxue coaxed. Okay. Baby nodded. Hee, it was going to celebrate its birthday with Big Sister on the same day. It was so happy. Tell Qingju the dates of your birthdays if you know them. Tell him if you want to celebrate on my birthday. Qingju, remind Big Sister at all times from now on. Lung Ruoxue ordered Qingju after speaking to everyone and the beasts. Okay. Qingju nodded. Today is White Dawn's birthday, so we'll celebrate it later. Everyone, go and prepare now. We'll be giving White Dawn a birthday gift later. Lung Ruoxue said with a smile. It was already very late, but it was a birthday. It only happened once a year, so it had to pass late as long as it wasn't past midnight. Okay. Everyone hurriedly ran back to their rooms to prepare after hearing this news. Schwer, I want my birthday to be the same as yours too, the freak said. Did you forget your birthday too? Lung Ruoxue teased with a light smile. No, but I want it to be the same day as you, the freak said willfully. He was jealous seeing that other people or beasts could celebrate Schwer's birthday with her, so he wanted to celebrate with her too. Okay, you can celebrate on the same day as me too, okay? Lung Ruoxue said helplessly. Empty, what about you? Lung Ruoxue turned her gaze to Empty and asked again. I've lived for too long. I don't remember when my birthday is anymore, Empty said awkwardly. The little beast didn't remember its birthday because it couldn't remember, but he forgot because he had lived for too long. Boo. This was really too embarrassing. I don't remember either, Icy said gloomily. Alas. It was the only Kirin in this world, and it didn't even have a clansman, so it was really jealous of those dragons and phoenixes sometimes. They had so many clansmen. Boo-hoo. Chapter 534. It's not convenient for me during these few days, too. All right, stay with me, Lung Ruoxue said quickly. Alas. She was really afraid that these two would cry directly if she said too much. Yes. Empty and Icy hurriedly nodded. However, today is White Dawn's birthday, so quickly prepare your birthday gifts, Lung Ruoxue urged. Schwer, what birthday present do you intend to give? Empty asked curiously. He didn't know what kind of birthday present to give the white tiger. What did the tiger like? He had saved up a lot of good things, but he didn't know what to give. How worrying. You'll know later if I don't tell you. Empty, a birthday gift is just a token of your sincerity. It doesn't have to be too expensive. Lung Ruoxue reminded him and then pulled the freak to help her. Empty looked at White Dawn lying on the table and hesitated for a long time before asking, White Dawn, do you have any gifts you want? I don't. White Dawn frowned and said after some thought. Then what should I give you? Empty was in a dilemma. Boo. What should he give I? Anything. It's okay if you don't give me a gift too, White Dawn said. It was already very happy that they had this intention. It really didn't care what they gave. How can that do? I'll think about it carefully. Empty held his chin and started thinking. Master, help me gift something to it too. Icy reminded. Boo. It didn't have much wealth. Okay. Empty nodded and continued thinking. After a long while, everyone and the beasts gathered in front of the purple bamboo hut. Where's Master? Charm asked curiously when it didn't see Lung Ruoxue. She went to prepare a gift, Empty said. Boo. He hadn't thought of what to give. Oh. Charm nodded, its heart full of anticipation. It might not be its birthday today, but it was still very curious what gift its master would give White Dawn. Fengda and the others took the initiative to prepare food when they saw that their miss was not back yet, so the silver snow fish in the pool suffered again. Moreover, almost all the fish, prawns, and crabs in the pool were not spared. Lung Ruoxue and the freak returned after they prepared the food. You're fast. Lung Ruoxue looked at the table full of food and was speechless. How many days were they planning to eat? Could they finish so much? If she remembered correctly, they had just finished the silver snow fish banquet not long ago. Isn't today White Dawn's birthday? Of course we have to prepare more. Fengda scratched his head and smiled foolishly. Can you eat it? Lung Ruoxue asked curiously. There won't be a problem eating a cow, Lin Yuan quickly promised. Okay. No one is allowed to sleep if you can't finish it, Lung Ruoxue said very seriously. She hated wasting. Master, don't worry. We can finish it, Ling promised. It hadn't eaten to its fill previously during the silver snow fish feast. Now that it had the chance to eat to its heart's content, of course it had to seize the opportunity. I can tell. You're all foodies. Lung Ruoxue said helplessly. Everyone and the beasts laughed foolishly. Where's our birthday girl? Lung Ruoxue looked around but found no trace of Baisu. Master, him here, White Dawn said shyly as it poked its little head out of the corner. Why are you hiding there? Are you shy? Lung Ruoxue teased as she hugged White Dawn. I'm not. White Dawn would never admit that it was really shy. Boo. It was not young anymore. It was just a birthday. How embarrassing. This was too abnormal. Okay, no. Lung Ruoxue didn't expose it and directly placed it on the table. She took out a small birthday hat from her ring and brought it to White Dawn's head. Miss, what is this? Fengda asked curiously. He had never seen anything on Baizu's head. This is called a birthday hat. You will also wear it on your birthday in the future, Lung Ruoxue explained. She remembered that she would bring this thing every time someone celebrated their birthday in her previous life, so she also got one for Baisu. It felt pretty good. It's pretty good, Lung Ruhen praised as he looked at the slightly shy Baisu. Thank you, Master, White Dawn said gratefully, its green eyes a little moist again. Silly, I still have a gift. Lung Ruoxue took out a table from her ring and placed it on the ground. Then she took out a large cake that was half the size of a person and placed it on it. Master, what is this? White Dawn opened its green eyes and asked curiously. Oh, this thing smells so good. Is it food? This is called a birthday cake. It's eaten on birthdays, Lung Ruoxue continued to explain. She had been in the alternate world for almost 2 years, and this was the first time she had made a birthday cake. In the past, she had only made longevity noodles for her grandfather once on his birthday. Alas, at that time, there was no condition to make a cake. After she refined the oven, she didn't have time because she was either in seclusion or her grandfather and the others were in seclusion, and they had never been able to gather together. However, after this time, she had decided that she would make birthday cake for everyone and the beasts for their birthdays as a celebration whenever she had time. Master, thank you. Boo-hoo, White Dawn was so touched that it cried. White Dawn, why are you crying? Lung Ruoxue said helplessly. Alas, it was just a cake, but it actually made White Dawn cry. What should she do? Master, I'm so happy, White Dawn sobbed, crying even harder, its fur wet. Don't cry if you're happy. Be good, everyone is looking at you. Lung Ruoxue hugged the crying Baisu and coaxed. That's right, little kitty. Why are you crying? This isn't like you. Don't embarrass the beast. Feng Zhan said mockingly. In fact, he was very envious of Baisu. Ooh. No one had celebrated his birthday for him since he was young. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.